How we going? How we doing? How we going? How we doing? Hey now, I give you Ryan Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoosh. I gotta tell you.
Tell me.
The last hour up in this bitch.
Hectic.
What the fuck, man?
Can anything ever go
Right
smoothly?
before we come on here, you know, there's babies crying, there's dogs barking, there's
Program's not working.
Look at the lag. You see that lag on there tonight? Everything just fell apart. Why? Right?
It's good to be back. Bad haircuts happened. All kinds of stuff right before we go on.
That's why we're late. We tried to get the issues with the stream resolved and the microphone and everything else.
So far away from the people.
Just it didn't happen.
Right.
You know, everything was fine throughout the day
Until.
and bang,
Boom.
woo. So that's why. Yeah.
No. And that's
I
also
wasn't,
why 2 cans of Pepsi for me. He's got the big
I got water.
extra sugar.
I got water, ice water here.
Yeah.
Right. I got Pepsi here.
Pepsi.
And then I got it
You
here.
got a little brewski. All right.
So if you had to choose between water, Pepsi, or beer,
I would do that.
you got to take the beer. I wasn't going to drink, but it's been a rough out.
It's been a rough couple weeks too. We missed last week. Personal problems, but that doesn't matter because we're here this week and we're going to do a 3-hour show. That's why we're here at 7, a little after 7, but that's why we're here at 7 instead of 8. We're going to give you an extra hour.
We're going to give you like 2.5 hours instead of 3, but it all depends. I mean, it's going to be a late night anyways, right? SmackDown's being taped in Las Vegas tonight, so it's a 3-hour delay for those of you guys on the East Coast. So you're looking at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning for SmackDown spoilers if you're on the East Coast. It's just going to be a late night, so we figure we'll stick around for 3 hours tonight and, you know, however long we need, because there is a lot of news.
A lot of catching up to do.
We weren't here last week, like Boone said, some personal issues, but we're back. We're better than ever this week. We're ready to go. We're going to make up for it. The plan for tonight is we're going to run down SummerSlam from last Sunday night.
Yeah.
We're going to talk Monday Night Raw. We'll probably skip last week's Raw. We'll kind of touch base after SummerSlam. It was Raw, and then we'll run down like we normally do last night.
We'll do last night's Raw, but I think we have to talk about the outburst of Fat at least
with the fat guy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. And then,
funny.
my God, a ton of
Looking at the
news.
list now, my God.
I mean, we came up with a list that's about a mile long. This is what we're going to be talking about. We haven't talked about any of this. Took last week off.
It's been 2 weeks, but look how much has happened.
Darren Young came out, revealed he was first professional wrestler. Well, active first.
Active WWE wrestler.
Canyon.
Canyon got fired when he came out, or he came out and then he got fired. It depends on who you ask. Yeah. Can't ask him anymore. God bless his soul. Orlando Jordan came out in TNA, not the same thing. This is the first active WWE performer to say gay, remain in the company, and remain on TV and be openly gay as a WWE superstar. Right. So that came out like the day after our last show. So it seems like old news at this point. It came out like Friday.
I think it was Thursday or Friday
of that week.
Yeah, right.
So it's like 2
that
or 3 days.
was good timing.
Yeah. Wasn't it? I'm just saying, it seems like ancient news by now, but it's really only been a week and a half, 2 weeks old. So.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that, our thoughts on that. Brooke Hogan, about the same time that Darren Young stuff came out, a couple days after, she is gone from TNA Wrestling. What's up with her father? Is her father going to stay with TNA? His contract is about to expire in the next couple of months. So we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan's future with TNA. Ted DiBiase quit WWE yesterday. Released a video.
Junior, $1 Million Man's kid, says he's not re-signing with his contract.
He and many others have been frustrated for a while. We're going to give you some names where he's not the only one that's thinking about leaving WWE. So we're going to talk about that. Jim Neidhart.
I didn't watch the
video.
Damn, my friend. I saw the one that we watched together with Brett talking, and he's in the background tweaking out.
That's one.
I didn't see. You said there was one with him talking, didn't you?
Well, he talks in that.
Yeah, I didn't see him talking.
He chimes in.
Was his voice all slurred?
Yeah, he just the way his answers don't make a lot of sense. You know,
we'll say he's somewhere between an old school Sean Waltman and a present day Rebby Scott.
Yeah.
Your girl. By the way, look at me real quick. Oh, I remember, baby. 3 days till the WZR bitch slap. There it was. I said he could get me back, but all right, we're easy.
This guy out of the clear blue bitch slap.
That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it, dude. 3 days.
Shit, man.
3 days, I said.
You see that in the chat? There's no bitch slap you right in the face right there.
Do I deliver? Wow. I told the army that bitch slap you.
It's going to be a long 3 hours, brother. It's going to be a long 3 hours. All right. That was good. What else are we talking about? So Jim night.
They just said the draft tomorrow.
It is.
Okay.
It's Wednesday.
Live?
Well, it'll be the 10 of us.
I mean, we have to do it live on the internet?
We'll have to be on the net. Yeah, we'll have to.
It's 10:30 there. Is that what it is?
All right, 10:30
in the morning?
No, like nighttime, right? It's got to be 10:30 at night.
I would hope.
Yeah. So yeah, the Jim Neidhart. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, the video that was released.
Audio was muffled, but it was blurry.
It's bad. I'm telling you guys, it's bad tonight. What if I go into the microphone like that? Does that make it a little bit better?
I'm not sorry. Like this.
Yeah, right. Right. We're working on it. Listen, man, we're working on taking live phone calls and the video and everything. I know it's choppy tonight. I mean, we're looking at you right now on this. And
they probably haven't even seen the slap yet. I'm wondering why there was no reaction. They must be like way behind, huh?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we're working on. I mean, we didn't want to take any weeks off, right? So we're just kind of going with it.
Here, I'll do a keyword for them. Say the word strawberry in the chat room. When you hear strawberry, type strawberry. That way I get a gauge on how far behind you are.
There you go. And it may get worse as we go on. Especially being 3 hours.
Okay, that was really quick.
It's not too bad.
Okay. All right, slap them harder. Why not?
I know they no-sold the slap.
You want another one? No.
No? All right.
You want another one?
Yeah. So, Ted DiBiase, we're going to talk about that news. Ric Flair over SummerSlam weekend, and some behavior that when I watched the video, I'm thinking, you know what? This is funny shit. It's
Flair being Flair with a couple dudes in it.
2K.
He didn't run around with a dick on sock on his dick and his robe going woo woo. I mean, he had a couple beers. He got a little hyper. How many WZR broadcasts have I fucking gone off like that? Where I think I'm funny, I think I'm entertaining.
You're annoying.
It's entertaining, but in a train wreck, annoying kind of way. But it's still fun to watch.
I guess 2K Sports didn't really have a problem with it.
That's what I said. It's still fun to watch.
It was WWE corporate, and you know how they react to things like that. And everybody says, "Well, what's the big deal?" It's WWE corporate. It's representing the company in that manner, and that stuff doesn't go over well.
That stuff being specifically, I mean, he's talking way too much about alcohol, especially attached with the face of the company, John Cena. Right. Saying, oh, now Cena, he's like, when I met Cena, he never used to drink. Now he drinks a 6-pack every night, but making him sound like he's a drunk. Really, what he's doing is complimenting him. Saying he's a real wrestler now because he goes out and has a beer after a show. You know, when in reality, that's not how it is these days. That was the old school way of wrestling mentality. You go to the bar, guys are on the internet playing video games and more nerdy shit than it is, you know, alcoholics and pill junkies these days. Right. At least as far as the percentage is concerned. But he was kind of putting them over in that sense, but it came off bad. Like, yeah, John Cena drinks a lot. That's basically all it looked like. And then he said Daniel Bryan. He kind of buried him when telling a Harley Race story. He mentioned TNA when talking to Foley. This is a couple of real bad no-nos.
You had, I mean, Steve Austin was cracking up at some of this stuff, right? But you had Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Rey Mysterio were just sitting there with these stone-faced looks. You could like, I am not, you know, I'm not getting involved in this. You know what I mean? I'm going to sit here and not say a word and let, they didn't belong. Well, they knew that, you know, they if they were to play into that, it's not going to go over well with WWE management. So they kind of let Ric Flair take all the heat.
And who could get a word in with Flair?
Right.
Yeah, Jim Ross at one point, what did he say? He just said something completely random, and Flair's like, oh, don't get me started on car insurance. And he's like, Jesus, I started a car insurance story. Prenups, yeah. He's like, goddamn, I started a prenup story. Anything JR would say, Flair would interrupt him and go on a story about it. He just couldn't. He was getting pissed.
And Jim Ross as well. I mean, listen, you honestly
let's be honest. We're on the air. I want to address what Mr. C.K. Poker said, because I believe what he said completely.
That's where I'm going right now. It's Jim Ross. I mean, listen, the guy, and you brought up a good point. I'll let you talk about it here in a second, but Boone watches those Legends of Wrestling, the roundtables that they do, and they all have cups and things like that. I'll let you explain the story. But Jim Ross, I mean, the guy was slurring his words. Obviously, he's got Bell's palsy. We all know that. But he came out and he, you know, I wasn't drunk. It was my Bell's palsy. Listen, I'm telling you, man, the guy had a couple of beers. Not only that, but there was a point during the panel where they referenced it. At the very end, Jim Ross says, yeah, we're going to go back and have some more cocktails. Yeah. Like they had already drank a little bit beforehand. But Jim Ross obviously came out, said that he wasn't drunk. And let's be honest, do you think Jim Ross is honestly going to come out and says, yeah, man, before I went out there, I was shit-faced. Yeah. I was thanked. I drank. Of course he's not going to admit that he was drinking some beers, but you've watched the round tables, right? Yeah. And you know that, you know, there's Jim Ross with the Bell's palsy, and then there's Jim Ross who's been drinking. Yeah. And you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see.
But I clearly agree with you. I thought he was clearly drunk. I mean, it's rude to say because you're pretty much calling him a liar. But like you said, he's just being professional for the public face. He can't come out and say, oh, man, I was hammered, I was shit-faced. He's got to kind of say, it was my Bell's palsy. It tends to act up and makes me slurs my speech. But this dude was clearly drunk. Yeah. It wasn't just his speech. It was his behavior. It was little notes, like you said, like, let's go have some more cocktails, things like that, where you could tell the man had been having a good time.
Oh, and he was cussing at one point, too.
Yeah, a lot.
You know what I mean? So in addition to that, guys, before we move on, we're going to talk about Goldberg at WrestleMania 30. There's some rumors about that. Goldberg's come out, he's replied, giving his thoughts. Are they in talks with him or not? Yeah. Vince McMahon and Ultimate Warrior met up over SummerSlam weekend at the festivities. We're going to talk about that. Taker versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 30 is going to happen. What's the deal with Brock Lesnar's deal? Devon going from TNA Wrestling, and AJ Styles. Big contract issues. AJ Styles from TNA, so we're going to be talking about that. Sin Cara injured on Raw last Monday night. Alberto Del Rio was not happy with the injury, so we're going to talk about that. And speaking of Alberto Del Rio, him and Drew McIntyre over SummerSlam weekend were involved in an altercation in a bar. So, I told you the list was a mile long, man, and we're going to get into it. What we're going to do here is, in about the next half hour, we do want to run down SummerSlam for you guys. We're going to get to all the news, like I said. We're going to do a rapid fire as well as some folks. Speaking of rapid fire, you know what? I think I may go and put up rapid fire now and have everybody submit the question.
Well, if they want to submit questions, they can do a couple of things. Most notably, they can type on their little web browser, www.facebook.com/ see the / Ryan Clark WZR. Facebook.com / Ryan Clark WZR. Once you get there, you put it up now. The top post will ask you for your rapid fire questions and comments for our numero dos and trace. We'll get to as many as we can. Try and keep it brief, not big ass paragraphs, because I have to point and read them here live. And, we want to get to as many as we can. So keep it brief. Facebook.com / So breathe. Let's try that again. Facebook.com / Ryan Clark WZR. Get over there and submit it.
Rapid fire. We need a bunch of them tonight, guys, because we're going 3 hours, 2.5, 3, whatever. You know what I mean? So let's get the plugs out of the way, and then we'll get into it. We'll talk about SmackDown being tonight from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Was delayed for those of you on the East Coast, so it's going to be a late night. But SmackDown and the main event being taped out in Vegas tonight. To do rapid fire, kind of mixed it up between hour number 2 and hour number 3. We're working on the video, the music, the sound, all that stuff, man. It's a process.
Yeah, last night we had a revelation about callers. We didn't have enough time to get into it today, but we're gonna work. We're gonna really try for you guys for next week. No promises, obviously, but we think we might be taking close. We're getting close. We're very close. We're figuring it out.
And then the video, we're not sure what's up the lag tonight. We think that may be on Jumpster.tv. Some of the guys in the chat room were talking about using a tiny chat or something like that earlier, so we're going to look into that for you guys. Maybe that'll speed up the video and the audio as well.
I still think we should stream this off YouTube. We should look into that.
It's so difficult though with YouTube. I mean, I've looked into it, but it's difficult. Sure, we can do it. We missed a pretty good Ring of Honor show, Manhattan Mayhem down in New York City. We are gonna go though. They're coming back. I think it's December 17th. They're coming back for a final battle in New York City, so we are gonna go to that one. So,
it was your birthday.
Yeah, he's a hair now. We got there.
But it was his birthday. We were supposed to go. We were supposed to meet up with my buddy Mike Shalik. Said it right that time. Shalik. 24wrestling.com. He was supposed to go with us, and last minute we weren't able to go. But like you said, December they're coming back, and hopefully we can check that one.
And then every Monday night, guys, we don't do the video on Mondays, but we do audio, right? So we open up the chat room live during Raw for 3 hours from 8 to 11 Eastern Time. Put the audio feed up for you guys. Me, Matt Boone, and I, we chime in during the commercial breaks. It's you and you.
I had an iPhone in there.
We chime in during the commercial breaks for you guys. Put the audio stream up. So check it out every Monday night. WZROnline.com/chat. Speaking of the chat room, lots and lots of people in that chat room tonight. How can we get there? You can go to WZROnline.com/chat. WZROnline.com/chat. You get there. Lots and lots of people in there, as always.
Freaking can kind of, but we look like ghosts on this camera.
I hate the lighting.
The lighting or something. Yeah, the lag is lag. I don't know. Apparently, we're not far behind as far as that lag, but the actual motion, the motion lag.
Yeah, when you hear it, it's pretty bad tonight. I don't know. We're working on it. We don't want to take a week off. We want to be here every week, but with that,
look what
kind of like a trial and error.
You take 1 week off, look how much we got to get to tonight. Right? 3 hours because we had 1 week.
Yeah. I'm sorry about the sound. I'm sorry about everything, man. We're trying, you know? You know what we could do? We could try to use the other microphone right here. Let's plug it in. Let's see if we can do, why not?
Right in the middle of
the show, we're going to switch the microphone for you guys and see if that works a little bit better. Let's see. See what we got.
Put it over here.
Plug this bad boy in. Take this one out first. Take this one out first.
That one out
first.
All right. Kick in the back. We good.
How about it? A little bit better? You guys hear this better? Is this any better at all?
How's that microphone?
Yeah, turn the stream off and back on would probably,
How's that microphone sound?
Worse.
Worse? You got
Terrible.
volume up on it?
There is no volume on it.
Oh, there's no volume? Oh, no. So you want us to go back to the other microphone?
Back we go.
Damn. Well, damn. Let us fix it for you. There. How's that? Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Our apologies. Our apologies. We'll work on it. Trust me, man. We're gonna work on everything for you next week. The goal here, right? The goal here is for Boone to wear a headset, for me to wear a headset, and then be able to take your live phone calls, and then everything will come together. But we're working on it. Just give us, I know it's got the echo and it's got everything else right now, but we're working on it. Trial and error. All right, get to our live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat, WZROnline.com/chat. All right, SummerSlam, man. From a couple of weeks ago on Sunday night. What you think, man? Top to bottom.
Oh, I already see the first I told you, so I get to do. First, SummerSlam top to bottom, B+, A-. I mean, it was up there. It was a really, really good show. Couple of match of the year candidates. Certainly one match of the year candidate at least. And and a lot of good matches. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of storylines and segments, but just a lot of really good matches.
Speaking of good matches, they kicked it off. We had the pre-show match, right? It was Dean Ambrose against Rob Van Dam for the United States title. We didn't talk about this. What do you think about Ricardo Rodriguez? Last Monday on Raw came out and introduced that he's no longer with Del Rio.
He's now with Rob Van Dam, which is funny to me. Right? I don't get the pairing. I don't understand why RVD. RVD's going to feud with Del Rio, so that the natural thing is to have Rodriguez, work against Del Rio and whoever he's working with. But it's just, if it was Mysterio, he could keep doing the Spanish thing, only go for a good guy now, especially with Del Rio cutting these but like Latino hero promos when he's a heel. It would make a lot more sense for Mysterio to come in, and he's the real Latino hero. Rodriguez back Mysterio, that would make perfect sense. But since Mysterio's not ready, they go with RVD, and for some reason they felt the need to have Ricardo Rodriguez stay involved in the storyline, so they put him with RVD.
Well, they confirmed on Raw last night that Rob Van Dam against Alberto Del Rio for the world title is going to take place tonight at Champions. So I guess, for the time being, Ricardo Rodriguez works for RVD just to keep him in the mix.
Just like so he's opposite Del Rio, yeah. Right, so, but he was injured on TV. They could have just left him on the shelf until Mysterio came back and do what I said, but I guess they want to keep him in there that bad.
So we had RVD won the match here. It was for the U.S. title, but RVD won via disqualification. So
they lost the fuck at the end with the Shield came down, Big Show, Mark Henry came down and chased them off. We thought that was going to set up a tag title match for the SummerSlam pay-per-view with Henry and Show against Rollins and Reigns, or even a 3-on-3 or a handicap match, which was rumored at one point, but nothing. They didn't have anything. Nothing. Yeah.
And you know what was also weird is the pre-show, they went dark about 5 minutes before the pay-per-view, like at 7:55 Eastern time, right? It went dark, and there was like a 5-minute black picture on YouTube. And normally, you do the final hard sell where they've got the panel up there, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, whoever else is up there, Vic Guerrero, and they do the hard sell, but man, there was nothing, man. It was just 5 minutes of black screen there.
I was getting ready for work at that point, so I don't remember anything. Yeah, I guess so.
They kicked it off. Here's the I told you so, and everybody in the chat room.
They had JoJo come out singing that actually. She was good. From something they covered up. Total Divas. She has a good voice, very pretty face. So yeah, that was nice.
And they kicked it off with the Ring of Fire match. Now I came out here a couple of weeks ago and I said, listen, man, this is going to be a big disappointment. And I wasn't talking about the match itself because the match itself was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. But I thought with the fire and everything else, and I told you guys in the chat room, that it was going to be weak, man. And there would be flames on the outside, but not all the way around, you know? Yeah. And sure enough,
I didn't know what you meant when you said that. Like, was it going to be on one side of the ring, or I didn't even understand what your thought process was. Yeah. I was like, of course it's going to be around the ring, but like you said, it was a disappointment in the sense that it was all the way around the ring, but the flames were like this high.
Right, and then every time somebody took a bump, the flames would shoot it up.
Right. That was always the spot they would do in the old Inferno matches, Ring of Fire match, more PG-friendly version. Right. But, yeah, like anytime they'd hit the corner, a slam, they'd shoot the flames up. But the actual chill zone, I call it, for the flames, where they actually relaxed and stayed, was like an inch of fire, which was just, it was very weak. It was more impressive than I thought we were going to get. Especially for PG, they really had some chance.
Yeah.
Fire's unpredictable.
But the match itself was ridiculous.
It was done. It was.
And you couldn't concentrate.
Yeah, you were
the fire
exactly outside. And the other thing was the entire gimmick was the Wyatt family members, Eric Harper and Luke Rowan, were trying to find a way into the ring. They're trying to throw shit in the ring. They're trying to get in. The fire shoots up. They got to back up.
Right.
At one point, the dude who wears the sheet mask, he almost got his whole face burned. Yeah, real bad. But so you're distracted watching them, and then from a logistical standpoint, in the end, they had an asbestos blanket or whatever, a wet blanket that they threw on the flame so that they could get in the ring. So it was so stupid. But knowing that they had that blanket the whole time, it's not like they just, oh, look, there's a blanket, and then let's use it. Right. They knew it was there because they went and grabbed it. So if it was real, if wrestling was real, why don't they just pick that blanket up as soon as the bell rings, put it over the flame, and go over and do it? Why wait until he's in trouble to do it? It just didn't make sense in that respect. And like you said, from an actual technical wrestling standpoint, the match was atrocious. And because it was Bray Wyatt's debut match, kind of designed to get him over, I don't know if they delivered on that. What they get out of it.
I mean, Bray Wyatt, like Moose, he did wind up winning. I mean, you knew it was his first match.
And they did the injury angle afterwards with the steps.
With Kane to get him out. Like Moose talked about 2 weeks ago, he's going to film a movie, so that's why they had to do the injury angle there. Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. It was a decent match, man. Yeah, Cody Rhodes won clean with the crossroads. Lots of near faults in this one, but overall it was a fairly decent match. Alberto Del Rio and Christian for the world title. I said going in, man, I thought we were going to see a new world champion and a new WWE champion. I got one right. I was wrong on the other. Alberto Del Rio wound up retaining here. Really good match between those two.
Really? I told you so. No Christian winning the world title. There's I told you so number 2 in 2 matches. 2 matches or 3 matches. I've got to say I told you so twice already. Hang your head in shame, my brother. Yeah, he said no ring around the fire, or no fire around the ring. Christian's winning the world title. I said no and no and yes, 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 yes. I was right. You were wrong.
Everybody give him a golf clap.
That's me bowing in a little bit of space like that. Thank you.
It was a good match, though, man. Del Rio
was a really good match. And it was the first look we got at Del Rio's face. Because when he comes out, we don't know anything at this point. We see a giant black eye, a bunch of swelling. As soon as he gets bumped, his nose is dripping blood. We're like, what the fuck is going on with Del Rio? We find out right after the show. We get a couple emails, and then we follow. We find out. Long story short, Del Rio and Drew McIntyre, which we'll get into a little bit more later, involved in a fight. So that's why his face is so smashed up.
They blamed it on SmackDown. The Christians on Prettier
kill switch. He said that he hit the kill switch on Friday, which would have been 2 days prior to the pay-per-view, and that's why he had a perfect black eye from a kill switch where you just drop right there. Didn't make any sense, but they had to give
They had to give something. They had to explain something. Right. So let's see here. We can skip the backstage. I mean, there was Maria Menounos she worked a match during Access.
Yeah, right. Maria Menounos and Natalya versus Brie Bella and Eva Marie. Eva Marie's in-ring debut for WWE, the redhead off the reality show, and Maria Menounos and Natalya won. This led to the Natalya Brie Bella singles match on the actual pay-per-view.
God, what was up with the Total Divas? They came out and they were dressed like they were in the 50s, man. I mean, really? All the outfits they had on, my God, what was up with Eva Marie, especially with the red type spandex shorts she had on? I mean,
I was telling you I think it was during the pay-per-view where I said it to you. Excuse me, I said, AJ Lee's still my favorite. But I gotta you look like Jim Neidhart all of a sudden. Eva Marie AJ Lee's my favorite. Eva Marie is really good. She's number 2 favorite diva. She's getting up there.
Number 1 again?
AJ Lee, without question. And Eva's getting close and hot as shit. Yeah, still not worth watching Total Divas for.
I haven't. I mean, I didn't see Total Divas 2 weeks ago because of SummerSlam. We'll talk about now.
I did. I downloaded and watched it. It was the worst one yet.
Was it? Oh, that was the Natalya and Tyson Kidd one, right?
It was that and Nikki Bella's Pat and what's her face? One of the Funky Actors got fake titties that she was running around with to try them out, like the actual silicone fucking thing that they would.
And they've got the wedding coming up too, right? With Natalya and Tyson Kidd. I think they only taped what 8 or 10
for the first, and they extended it. A lot of people said second season, but that's just a longer first season.
So have they hyped up this wedding at all?
I didn't. The 2 weeks ago, I didn't see last night. I downloaded it, or Sunday night. I downloaded it, I haven't watched it yet. 2 weeks ago, like you said, it was the Tyson Kidd episode, really, and it was him being, like, injured and not wanting to fuck Natalya, and she's trying to get lingerie to get him to notice her, and blah, 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 blah. Right. Long story short, it's so scripted. He has a surprise for her one day. Get in the car, he has a surprise for her, blah, blah, blah. She's so excited to be being romantic for a change.
Right.
She starts noticing the neighborhood there is getting scumbaggier and scumbaggier, more ghetto and ghetto as they go.
Right.
Long story short, he tries taking her to a courthouse to marry her on the spot, and he eloped. And she flipped out and ran away from him. But that's the only mention of the wedding so far that I've seen. Maybe last night they said stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Or 2 nights. Sounds getting shit again. We haven't done anything. Why would it be?
It's the same. It's the same with most people. I mean, maybe sometimes when we're talking lower or higher. I promise you guys, man. I mean, I know when we get the feedback, everybody's going to be like, the video sucks, the sound sucks. We know, man. I mean, I'm looking at we're both looking at the live stream right now, and we can tell how choppy it is, and then the audio as well. We're working on it. Just bear with us, man. Bear with us. At least we're still able to come on here every week and give you guys something. You know what I mean, man? Yeah, sorry, we can't really talk to them.
Yeah,
We're working on it. I promise you guys, man. We're working on the audio. We're working on the video. It's only going to get better from here, guys.
tolerable. That's a good word.
There you go. All right, we had CM Punk. You were talking about 2 matches of the year.
They went through the Divas real quick. Time on it. Brie and Nikki, and the only thing I really remember was at one point Natalia was standing on the apron outside the ropes, and the spot was Eva Marie and the Bella Twins, or the other Bella Twin, was supposed to yank her off the apron. And when they went to do that, her foot slipped a little bit. And she almost bashed her face on the apron. It looked really scary.
And how out of place did Eva Marie look on the outside?
She looked like
she didn't know what she was doing.
She was really nervous. She looked like she didn't know what the hell to do. Yeah.
Right, and it's the same thing when you see her on Raw and like backstage segments. She's so out of place,
unnatural looking.
Oh, we need to talk. I mean, AJ Lee cut a hell of a promo last night on Raw. We'll talk about it in hour number 2. But the Bellas
during it,
right?
It was like a bunch of hecklers at a comedy show.
It was bad.
They couldn't take the fact that somebody was like making decent points and trashing them
We'll
at the same time.
We'll get into it in hour number 2.
Yeah,
they ruined that. They ruined that segment.
Oh, that's why you're blah blah blah. You shut up. You're stupid. No, you're the one that was doing
it. And it was audible over her cutting the promo. So man, CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam, bro. Wow,
match of the year, up there,
candidate
there.
Match of the
I'm
year.
trying to think of other matches. Well, WrestleMania didn't have another Undertaker, Triple H, or Undertaker, Shawn Michaels this year.
Right.
So really, I mean, shit. It was an amazing match. I made the comment on Twitter going out of the show. I said that Lesnar Punk stole the show, blah 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 blah. I said you wouldn't have really expected that going in. You might have expected a good match with the Punk, and you figure Heyman and the Punk to be as creative. Right. But we should start expecting these Lesnar matches. If you were running the clock and look back, his first Street Fight at Extreme Rules with John Cena. A fucking great dog fight of a match. There's 2 matches.
And he's so stiff.
Yeah, and so you believe it. Right. And it's real, especially when a little guy like Punk is doing all the selling as opposed to Cena or Triple H who are bigger guys. Yep. I think that's why this particular match is better. Plus you had the added element of Heyman with the spot with the tie when he's in the that was awesome. But like because it's smaller, it's more believable. Blah 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 blah. But my point is these Lesnar brawls, every single one of them, Triple H, Cena, Punk, they've been amazing. Lesnar has quietly become his own certain style, right? I mean, you got to be able to take a punch to the face 100 times for real, damn near.
Well, but keep in mind though, a lot of his matches are under Street Fight rules.
Yeah, so you get a lot of the gimmicks, chairs.
So it's not like he has to go out there and work a 5-star match. It's always a gimmick type match that he's been in.
But they turn out amazing though. Every single one of them, without question, has been entertaining as shit. This being the standout among those groups.
They had near fall after near fall. It came down to Brock was using the chairs, right? Brock was just chair shot after chair shot after chair shot.
Beat the shit out of him with that.
Right.
He hit back at the lit up after that shit.
And then after all the chair shots, picked him up, hit him with an F5, and got the 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar goes over.
I would say the coolest near spot, like you said, or near finish was fall finish was gets him up to the F5, but then Punk grabs onto Heyman's tie.
Right.
And of course, when you grab the tie, it's like a noose. It's like choking Heyman. So if Lesnar would have thrown to the F5, it would like choke Heyman, rip his head off and behead him. So it was just a really creative little thing they did, and really amazing match.
Really good.
Apparently, I heard that as soon as they went through the curtain backstage, they got a standing ovation. From all the boys.
That's probably match of the night, no doubt. I mean, the main event was great too, but just a really, really, really good stuff.
Main event was even more spectacular if you think Cena did all that with that fucked up arm.
Part of the reason, we'll get to that in a second. Part of the reason that Brock Lesnar wound up winning. I mean, he's got a contract right now, and it's 3 matches per year. He's already worked 2 of them. The third one is going to happen at WrestleMania 30. There's talk that Brock Lesnar is going to be wrestling The Undertaker, which is the match that everybody wants to see. They don't want Brock Lesnar, and I know it's so far away. I mean, we're only in August right now. We're talking April of next year for WrestleMania. But you don't want Brock Lesnar, losing to a guy like CM Punk, and then coming into WrestleMania, where his last match that he worked for in WWE is a loss to CM Punk.
Yeah,
You don't want to do that. So, and by the way, that match is by no means confirmed, but they are talking about
Lesnar Taker match.
Lesnar Taker.
Yeah, not confirmed. Definitely in the plans, and that's why they originally. I think Punk was supposed to go over. I don't know if you were just saying he was supposed to go over, and they switched the finish so that Lesnar wouldn't go with losing record to WrestleMania.
We had Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn against Biggie Langston and AJ Lee. This is kind of the tweener match, right? The filler, where you get the Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and then you get that tag team match.
The popcorn match.
The bridge match. That's what I was looking for. So you had Ziggler picked up the win here, right? Get the
zigzag. I believe it was just like you said, a buffer match between the main event.
I really believe that the guy that Shawn Michaels was talking about, and I know didn't Shawn know that's the thing. Didn't Shawn say he wasn't talking about Ziggler? I remember him saying
he wasn't talking about
Ziggler.
It was somebody that they know, but it was somebody specifically wasn't talking.
It just look at Dolph Ziggler, man. He has fallen off so much. I mean, the guy was world champion, and then he got the concussion, so they had to immediately basically strip him of the title or take the title off of him. And then, the guy wasn't on Raw last night, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe he was on Raw last night.
He was.
Was he on Raw?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Was Ziggler on Raw last night? Anybody in the chat room? I don't remember him on Raw last night.
I don't either.
I don't, Mark Henry, was he on Raw?
Another someone said yes. Okay, yes.
Who did he work against? Or was it a backstage segment? I don't think it was a match, was it?
On stage.
That doesn't count. I mean, Mark Henry and the Big Show were out there on stage at the end, too. As far as an angle, there was no Ziggler on Raw.
To your point, though, especially with the Ziggler thing, like you said, he was injured. He won the title. He was injured. They took the title off of him. It's pushed dead ever since.
Right.
But with Cena's on right now, they need new baby faces on top, so they put Daniel Bryan just by default. I don't know why they didn't go with Punk, by the way, but I guess they needed just the McMahon storyline to intertwine with whoever the top babyface was. The Punk's busy with Heyman and everything, so he couldn't do Punk. But guys like Ziggler are still around, and that guy could be a huge babyface if they really went with him, as opposed to letting him get over on his own. But Cena's our top guy to really focus on. Now that they can't focus anything on Cena, they have to put something behind somebody else. Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk, there's guys that could really step up. It reminds me of when
they need it now, like you said.
Of when Austin went down, and The Rock really. I mean, even before Austin was gone, The Rock was one of the. He was right there with Austin. Austin gets shelved, The Rock becomes the guy, right? Like he's not just like another good guy like Austin. He's the guy.
And you've got
on the same level. When Cena comes back,
4 to 6 months with Cena too. So
what I'm saying, when Cena comes back, it's not going to be the same thing. You think Daniel Bryan and Cena are going to be viewed as equals? No, of course not. So they're not going to get by. No. They're just giving Bryan the time because that's all they had.
Well, and the crowd has reacted to Daniel Bryan where you can't not push the guy. I mean, when I said it, I came on here and I said Daniel Bryan is not going to be a guy in WWE that gets over. It's not going to happen. He doesn't have the look. It's not going to happen. And now look at him, right? He's one of WWE's top guys. Just because the crowd's taking that whole yes, no gimmick's taken off to the point where Daniel Bryan's main eventer. Yeah, it will be for a long time.
And the fact that he has the best matches in the company doesn't hurt. The fact that he's able to sell merchandise because of his goofy ass look and shit now, like that was one of his other things. He wasn't marketable, wasn't charismatic. He got this catchphrase over because of the catchphrase and the look. He's got merchandise that they can sell now, so he's got all the factors that you need to be the top babyface. Maybe not the face of the company, but he's the guy right now. So
2 minutes, 1 minute. Main event of WWE SummerSlam, like Boone said earlier, Brock Lesnar and CM Punk, match of the night, no question about it. But right behind it was John Cena and Daniel Bryan for the WWE title.
And even going into the show, it was almost like Lesnar Punk's the real main event until the last week or two when they really stepped up to Cena Bryan promos and they really started. Like we said, the longest time they were going to do a babyface match, which is what they really did. But there was no tension. Right. And then they finally got the tension with the bitch smacks, with the fucking Japanese, with all that stuff. So by the time the show came around, it felt like a main event. It it really didn't seem like it was going to when they booked it. But
we put up on the website Triple H there was talk of him going heel during the match, and we should have known because Triple H came out to the old music when he came out to the referee, right? He didn't come out to his normal theme song. He came out to that old music that he used on
what,
Raw.
you were surprised when he did the turn?
Well, I wasn't surprised because we had put it up on the website.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there was kind of a subtle tease at the very beginning of the match. Triple H came down in the referee shirt with the old music, the heel theme.
And then we should have known. Like, I pretty much did. I mean,
well, pretty much everybody knew because we had put it on the website.
But
it was well done, man, the way they did it.
Well, what we had put up was the plan was for him to turn heel, and then they kind of changed their mind on that, but they ended up going with it anyway. But they'll probably just throw off that leak asshole that we call the finishes or whatever. Dolphins 1925 from Reddit. He put a thing up.
He did. He put a statement. We put a statement up on our website. It's on there. A couple posts down.
But just to wrap up SummerSlam, Daniel Bryan and John Cena. Like I said, it's a really good match, and I think it was even more incredible considering Cena, his entire fucking tricep was ripped off. You know what I mean? Like that guy deserves more credit. You know, and like I'd end off on Raw, which we'll get into a little bit. That's one of the other things we can reference from last week. Along with the punk rant, the fat fan, but like he's saying his goodbye, passing the torch, and they're shitting all over him. Like that motherfucker worked so hard, he just doesn't get any credit.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll finish up SummerSlam right now, then we'll come back and we'll open it up with John Cena and how hard he works and kind of go. But basically what happened is Triple H made the heel turn. Daniel Bryan wins the title. The confetti, they did it. It was great, man. The confetti came down. They had everybody believing.
Really felt like the end of the show.
Right, and then boom, Randy Orton's music hits. He comes down and he teases that he's about to cash in, and then he turns around and he starts walking back up the ramp. And at that point, Triple H hits pedigree on Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton turns around, comes back in, hands the briefcase to Triple H, cashes in 1, 2, 3. And then the following night on Raw is where Triple H came out and explained why he did it. And we got that same promo that he cut last week.
We'll get into that explanation after the break because it was being broken down. Plus, I want to talk about last night he said that Orton is just holding the belt for him. He's the real champion. That was very interesting. We got to talk about that. And like you said, the Darren Young, the Brooke Hogan, the Ric Flair. We'll talk more about that. Ted DiBiase, Hardcore Justice was while we were gone. UFC had a couple of shows. Son, a lot of stuff to get to. Your rapid fire as well. Give a couple of minutes if you'd like to.
Tell them where they can submit rapid fire.
Couple minutes left if they'd like to submit rapid fire. They can go to Facebook.com/ I was trying to get you while you were drinking so you'd have to finish the beer. Let me try that again. Facebook.com/ Ryan Clark WZR. Get over there. Get your last minute submissions in. We'll get to as many as we can while he goes and shoots up that beer foam. We'll be back with more WZR TV Tuesday. 3 hours this week, bitches. Right after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. A couple extras. We are back.
Oh, no. Back. And Haley, my little niece here, come on over. I'll let her in.
Special guest.
Special guest right here. Jacob, hold him up. WWE champion right here. Can you see it? We got it on the stream. We got the strap. He's got the belt right here around his waist. Tell him, that's my brother. So that's my brother. He's WWE champion here.
He's got the gold.
Hey, he's got the gold. So they wanted to make a little guest appearance. Good old Jacob. Show him, Jake. Show him, Jakey, baby.
Get the hand up. He's the champion.
Champ right here. Champ of WZR Radio. This is my little nephew, Jacob. And we got him all decked out. We got to train him young. Right? We got to train him young. Which is the next WWE champion.
Zeno in the chat says, he has more hair than me and you combined.
I'm sure he does.
He does got a lot of hair up there, huh?
He's got a lot of hair. Come at you. And we got my little niece here, Haley. Haley, say hello. Hi, everybody.
Haley.
Hey, Jacob, before we let him go, though, this guy right here, remember him. Remember to look. Next WWE champion right there. The champion of the world. Yo, I'm WWE champion. Alright, here we go.
Computers.
Alright. Thanks for the appearance. We'll see you guys. We'll see you later. They really wanted to come in and say hello. Plus, he was all decked out. He's got his.
Got it?
Be careful. There we go. He's got his gear on. We got him decked out with WWE title. He's got the belt. He's got it all around his waist. Oh yeah, man.
You better be thankful I caught that. You had his foot in the glass. It said,
it was starting
to come right to the computer. I said, hello.
I forgot. I thought I just had the cans up there. Alright, so here we are, man.
Alright.
Our numero dos. Once again, sorry about the audio. Sorry about the video tonight. Me and Boone just had a talk during the commercial break.
It really bothers us more than you think.
It bothers us way more than you think. We just had a long talk during the break that we need to get this fixed sooner than later because you guys, you come here every Tuesday night. You shouldn't have to deal with this, and it just sucks for us because. I mean, me and you were doing, audio last night, and we were able to take live phone calls.
Turning that fucking camera on makes everything so complicated. You have no idea.
The camera is just ridiculous. But I know that there's a way where we could do it with 3 computers, but that would entail me bringing my computer in here every week and
we have 2 laptops, so we take those in there. We got to figure it out.
We are gonna take a day, man.
We're gonna have locations. They might can't even tell the difference. We got the shirts lined up a little cleaner behind us.
Yeah.
Our sister spent some time on that earlier today.
Yeah.
And where can they get these beautiful t-shirts if they would like them? Not that anybody
You can email me at webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com. You won't believe this shit. Hosted by Ryan Clark and Matt Boone. WZROnline.com every Tuesday night from 8 to 10 Eastern Time. Shoot me an email, webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com. $25 for you guys in the United Kingdom. $20 for you guys in the United States of America. Webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com. Shoot me an email and we will ship them out once we get you guys' money.
Questions we get, is that Matt Boone? And then we get, I thought Boone was Matt, or I've been on here 6-7 weeks in a row on camera, the same as Clark. What, and emailed 2 weeks ago and never got a reply about t-shirts. Are you skipping out on the orders?
Listen, man, I reply to all emails now. I can give you email. Webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com. Could have gone to my spam box, but I'm not sure. Alright, so listen, man, you brought up a good point before we went to the break. John Cena, right? He comes out. He worked a hell of a match at SummerSlam in the main event against Daniel Bryan. Second best match of the show, without a doubt.
Del Rio and Christian was up there too. It was really good. But
the following night on Raw, guy comes out and cuts a promo, and he's trying to be heartfelt, right? Basically saying that he's got the elbow injury and he's going to need to take 4 to 6 months off. And what he referenced during the promo about the fact that WWE doctors had told him take SummerSlam off, go get the surgery, and we'll find a replacement for you in the main event of SummerSlam. Cena refused and said, no, I'm working SummerSlam, and then after the pay-per-view. That's all legit. That's the
shoot.
That's the shoot.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. And so he basically came out, worked his ass off. And, I mean, listen, what you guys see on TV, it's a gimmick. John Cena, he caters towards kids, sold a ton of merchandise for the company.
Sold a lot of tickets.
The point I'm trying to make is, no matter how you feel about John Cena, you've got to be able to respect work ethic. And the fact that this guy does the Make-A-Wish, goes over
more than anybody else in history for Make-A-Wish, by the way. And I'm not just talking wrestling. More than any celebrity, more than he's granted more wishes than anybody in history.
Goes overseas, works all WWE live events.
Yeah, a guy at his status, like Hulk Hogan in his day, even Austin and Rock were guilty of it to a lesser extent, would miss a lot of the towns. They wouldn't hit up every house show. This guy goes to every house show, works the main event, 10, 20-minute matches, works every TV,
anything the company asks him to do.
All the personal appearances, the media stuff, in between all this work and traveling at work. I mean, he takes a nice bus to travel. Who wouldn't? CM Punk does too. But the guy works his ass off. Does not get the respect he does deserve, in my opinion. You don't have to like the character. You don't have to cheer pop for him. But when the guy is giving you a legit speech, saying his goodbyes, saying, hey, this is my guy, this is the company's guy, Daniel Bryan, we're giving the keys of the town to him. He's got the keys to the shop. He's going to run this shindig while I'm out getting better. And they just boo him unmercifully. And he says, I'm going to be out for 4 to 6 months. And yay, they're happy that he's out for 4 to 6 months.
It's almost like they were happy that he was injured. Yeah. And they were happy that he had to go.
Thank God he got hurt because we don't have to watch him. Like, God damn, really?
I mean, say what you want, but you got to be able to respect the guy's work ethic. Work ethic, like I said earlier. He's just a workhorse. And
by the way, the chat room, WZROnline.com/chat. Get there. Oh, it went away, motherfucker. See, we just asked people not to send giant books.
I know, right?
But this guy, he summed it up best. He said, it's Reigns, Ambrose, and Rollins in the chat. Says, Cena is the hardest working guy in the WWE. Hate the character, but respect the man. And that's all. That's what we're saying. The fans don't seem to respect the man. At least they weren't last Monday on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
guys, you gotta shorten it. What the hell?
Yeah, shorten the messages in the chat. Same thing with rapid fire. Just try to make them like 1 or 2 sentences, and then we'll be able to get to each and every one of you guys. But, all right, let's see. Speaking of Raw, we're on the subject, John Cena. I mean, that was last week's Raw, but
the Punk thing with the fans, the only 2 things really...
from last week.
Oh, the car injury.
While we're on the subject of last week's Raw, CM Punk and the fans, like you just brought up, man. That was...
I still haven't seen the whole segment. You watched it and showed me that. The only thing I saw was the clip you showed me.
That was about it, though.
Yeah, but then he went to the actual regular promo. But yeah, the actual outburst of the fan, that's the only thing I saw.
Right, there was a guy in the first couple of rows where, it was the night after SummerSlam, and CM Punk's about to go on about how he had been defeated by Brock Lesnar the night before, and this fan who was a couple of rows back said something to Punk, which really irritated them. And there was some reports out of backstage that it was one of those days for CM Punk where he was already kind of in a pissed off mood backstage, known to have those. Everybody's known to have a bad day, right? I mean,
yeah,
come on, man.
Or an off day.
Every day is not a good day. And he was already in a bad mood. And whatever this fan said really, really hurt him.
He's notorious for being a grumpy asshole at times.
Right. And so this guy really got the attention of CM Punk. He went off script and basically said, "Listen,
some verbal venom and a fatty."
Yeah, he told him, called him out to come on over the rail, jump the rail.
Begging you get in here, I'll beat your ass.
Or sit down like a little bitch you are, or something like that.
Punk ass bitch, or your bitch, sit your bitch ass down.
Right. But yeah, that wasn't scripted, and whatever that fan said, and then Paul Heyman came out later and referenced the same fat guy in the front row.
They said there was no heat because as a babyface, that was such a heel thing to do, like an old Ric Flair. And this Sunday at pay-per-view, sit down, fat boy. Like just, it was like an old Ric Flair kind of spot. Right, it was legit. Like you said, it was a shoot. The guy bugged Punk. He couldn't help it. Spewed back at him. Point being, backstage, there was no heat on Punk for that, even though he was a babyface, spewing venom as a heel, like the heel would. Because, like you said, Heyman was cooking up on his feet when he came out to re-reference it, to call it back, and then transition back into the actual promo points that he was supposed to hit.
That's why Heyman and Punk are so good.
And basically, the feeling in the consensus of the company was that it almost added to the whole storyline because there was a lot of fire and passion that Heyman was smart enough to capitalize off of and reference in his promo. Exactly. So it ended up working out even better, but it was a complete shoot.
Exactly. And then, like Boone said just a couple of minutes ago, Sin Cara, last week on Monday Night Raw, he dislocated his finger, right?
Was it a couple fingers or just the
I
one?
think it was the one finger, man. And he was in a match with Alberto Del Rio. God, Sin Cara's just been a complete fail for WWE.
Yeah.
Right? With all the injuries, like he comes back and he gets injured.
Well, he comes in too and he's got an ego because he thinks he's a Stone Cold.
A major star overseas in Japan, and then he's
not here. Right. He carries himself like he is. So he's supposed to get behind him in the beginning.
So he's in the ring, right? And he dislocates his finger. And if you know anything about pro wrestling, I mean, if you get injured in the ring, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to continue as much as you can. It's an unwritten rule. You continue as much as you can, and then you go to a quick finish.
If it's not terribly badly injured, then you keep going until you can't anymore. Triple H being the best point, tore his quad completely off the bone. Ripped that fucker right off and kept doing the match. And this guy just dislocated a finger and couldn't. That's just
so he dislocates the finger, right? And
you can dislocate my finger right now. I'll finish WZR.
Right. So he called for the match to be stopped, right? Tells the referee, stop the match. My finger, I broke my finger, whatever. So Del Rio gets pissed.
You gotta think, 2 nights before, Del Rio had a bottle broken over his face, and he still did his match 20 minutes of the pay-per-view. The very next night, still was doing his match with Sin Cara, who couldn't continue because of the Del Rio's got a concussion and a fucking mini coma, and he's goddamn paralyzed, and he's got all these, and Sin Cara's little finger hurts. He's got a boo-boo. He's got a fucking boo-boo, and he says, I can't,
So Del Rio went into business for himself and just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, well, like the guy in the chat room here says, Ron G, notice the referee pushing Del Rio and told him to get the fuck out of here. Basically, because what he's referencing, Del Rio kept advancing towards Sin Cara. The referee thought that Del Rio maybe didn't realize he was injured and there was something that Del Rio realized. Del Rio knew just fine. He was pissed.
In uncertain terms, you're a pussy.
A fucking pussy.
Step up.
Yeah, still going at him.
Your finger hurts, bro. Step up, you pussy. Not only that, but then it goes back to the days of Del Rio and Sin Cara overseas in Mexico, right? Sin Cara?
Sin Cara was Mexico, and Del Rio was Dos Caras.
That's what it was, right? Yeah. Well, back in the day in Mexico, I think it was Del Rio that in real life pulled a gun on Sin Cara. I think it was a gun on Sin Cara back in the day. So there's always been legitimate.
Ron G says it was one of Sin Cara's guys pulled a gun on Del Rio.
Okay, one of Sin Cara's guys. All right, so they pulled a gun on
Del Rio's a legit fighter. He fought Pride. He fought Miracle Pro Cop with the fucking mask on. But he got him to make sense.
So there's always been some heat between those two guys as it is, and the whole my fingers dislocated didn't go over well with Del Rio.
Especially, like you said, because the guy just got, he's got a concussion, things bottle broken over his head, broken nose, his eyes black, his face is swollen, and he just got done working the night after it happened at a pay-per-view, and now he's working again the very next night with his face still a wreck, complete mess, dizzy from his concussion, and this guy's finger hurts and he won't continue. But Del Rio, you know what I mean? That's just not good for Sin Cara. He won't be getting any pushes anytime soon.
Right. Get to our live chat room, guys. WZROnline.com /chat. WZROnline.com/chat. We got lots and lots of people in there, as always, tonight. WZROnline.com/chat. Alright, so let's get into last night's Monday Night Raw. I mean, WWE's on quite the streak, man. We had SummerSlam, really good pay-per-view. We had last week's Raw, really good Monday Night Raw. And then we had Raw last night, which was pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good show last night, too. I'm trying to remember. I watched the whole thing. I'm not watching a lot of the stuff, but
they kicked it off. Randy Orton, right? Well, actually, they shot right to the arena where the Shield was
outside the
standing,
ring.
right,
Yeah.
outside the ring, and Triple H comes down to the ring, and I guess the Shield's new gimmick, if you will, is Triple H's security
Basically, they're
team,
security now, yeah.
So he goes on and he basically cuts the promo that he did last week about, you know, Randy Orton is the future, and
We didn't
he
talk
did
about
it
that.
for
Yeah.
he did it for the fans.
We talked about the SummerSlam finish. Daniel Bryan beats John Cena, wins the title. They do the confetti. Looks like he's winning the title. That's the show ending. And instead, Orton comes out to cash in, stops, turns around. Triple H pedigrees Bryan. Orton turns around, comes in, cashes in, pins and wins the belt. He's the champion. Triple H's explanation the next night went something along the lines of, we'll keep it simple. He likes Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan's a B+ player at best. Randy Orton's an A. And Bryan's a very good guy, but anyway, he likes him and he deserved to win, but he's not the face of the
Well,
company.
Stephanie McMahon that had called him a B or a B+.
He's not the face of the company, and Triple H is just looking out for what's best for business. Key phrase, because that's what keeps coming up, and will come up again right here. So that's the basic quick gist of the explanation.
So that's, I mean, like Boone said, that's what he talked about last
He reiterates
night on
again.
Raw. Right, same thing. And then he's got a gift. He wants Randy Orton to come out to the ring, brings him out, and says that he's got a brand new gift for him, and that is a brand new 2013 Cadillac Escalade.
And we find out later why they went with that particular.
And you know, as soon as there's a brand new car or a brand new something, you know, at some point during Raw, something's happening.
But not only that, you know why they went with Escalade. Out of all the cars they're going to win with, just for that joke. That's the only reason, guaranteed.
Right. So he brings out the Cadillac Escalade. Randy Orton is just, I don't know what to say. Thank you for the wheels. I appreciate it. And then eventually Daniel Bryan comes out. He interrupts and he's like, congratulations, you got an Escalade.
Pretty boy with a pretty car and blah blah blah.
That's what it was, right? And Daniel Bryan goes on to thank the fans, those that have believed in him, and they've allowed, he thanks John Cena as well for giving him the title shot,
the opportunity,
at SummerSlam, right? So we basically call Triple H a sellout, the guy that now wears a suit tie,
cut his hair,
right? And out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan says, "Well, I'm going to go rematch at Night of Champions." Now I'm thinking, if Triple H really doesn't want Daniel Bryan in the WWE title picture, why not say, "No, dude, you're not getting the title shot at Night of Champions"?
There's an explanation.
There's an explanation.
Automatic
rematch
clause. He won the title even if it was like 10 seconds. He's entitled to an automatic rematch.
So that's true.
But Triple H mocked his speech, mocked his promo just there you were describing, and then basically said that despite the big size does matter, and then the face of the company does matter. It's Randy Orton, not
Randy Orton's an A player
and
and
the B player.
So that was that. They hyped up. We knew this going in. CM Punk and Curtis Axel. I'm gonna try one thing. We're gonna try, you want to give it back to it? I'm gonna try one thing, guys, with the audio. With the audio, I'm gonna try to shut off. We've got an air conditioner. You parked in my face, dude.
Playing for the camera.
So we're gonna try to. We're just gonna see if this works. Tell us if this improves the audio.
Right. I'll do some tests here. Ready? Test.
Right.
1, 2, 3. This is test A. Now. Test. 1, 2, 3. This is test B. And there. Test. 1, 2, 3. This is test C.
Let's see if that
Is there
works.
any difference between A, B, and C?
There you go with the audio, man. We'll see if that changes things up. Sounds about the same.
C is
That's not good, man.
Oh well. They all said the same.
I guess we already started, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. We'll just sweat and still sound like shit.
No, we'll turn it back on once it gets
Once it gets hot.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so back to Raw. They hyped up Curtis Axel against CM Punk. That's going to happen later on tonight.
That was announced the week before for this. It was going to be non-title. It stayed non-title. There was rumors that they were going to actually put the title. And then they ended up changing it to fans get to vote for the stipulation. And the three options were Heyman's banned from ringside, Heyman's a special referee, and then C, If Punk wins, he gets to get his hands on Heyman and Lawler, and the deal was all persuading fans.
God, did they ever persuade the fans to vote for that, right?
Basically, they said it was almost the equivalent of, all right, we can vote for three things tonight, folks. A, Daniel Bryan will brush his teeth on TV. B, Triple H will wear a green shirt instead of a black shirt. Or C, Stephanie will show her naked tits to all the fans.
Right. What are you going to vote
Obviously, they're going to vote for. They set it up in a way where everybody's going to vote for C.
We had Cody Rhodes and Fandango. Cody Rhodes picked up the clean pin here. I mean, Fandango's just a jobber. Another jobber, right? Falling into that trap. He was always
just another guy,
right?
Not necessarily always going to be. When he first came in, he had a lot of momentum.
They did.
The gimmick at one point, it seemed like a gimmick that could be a really kind of a clever heel character as opposed to a heel act. Because he was definitely a character, being the dancer and a specific gimmick. And they really were going with it. Fans were getting behind it, and the classic WWE, they pumped the brakes on that real quick.
Yeah, just killed it. We had Rosa Mendez made a return to Raw last night. They came out, it was Miz and Rosa Mendez. They came out and kind of mocked Fandango's dance. And then they were on the outside.
All that in SummerSlam, too, because the running joke was the Miz was the host of SummerSlam, and every time he had a segment, Fandango would come and dance.
Yeah.
And Miz would be, really? After this was a test break. So that set up this unfortunate program between Miz and Fandango.
There was supposed to be a segment with Miz and Ric Flair. I mean, they had that angle a couple of months ago,
At
right?
SummerSlam, yeah.
Well, where Ric Flair kind of passed the torch along
the figure four.
Yeah, right. And then Ric Flair with the behavior that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they wound up pulling Ric Flair from SummerSlam. By the way, at the end of SummerSlam, and I brought this up to you after it was over, we didn't mention it. When Triple H made the turn, right? And SummerSlam went off the air, and it was Triple H and Randy Orton. And they got their hands held up high and this, that, and the other thing. It crossed my mind, and I know it didn't cross your mind because you told me you weren't even thinking about it, but I saw Evolution, and I'm thinking, all right, Ric Flair, no doubt, Randy Orton and Triple H, right? The only one missing is Dave Bautista. And there was some rumors that Batista was in talks with WWE, but it turned out that, I mean, the way it looks now is we're not going to see Evolution, obviously. But did that cross anybody else's mind?
Apparently, it crossed a lot of people's minds.
Did it?
Like you said that to me, and it didn't even hit me. Like, oh yeah, Triple H and Orton are going to be lined up.
Right.
Ric Flair's supposed to come back. They just reached out to Batista recently. Why not do Evolution? But yeah, that never even crossed my mind until you brought it up, and then it seemed so obvious that that's what they should do.
Right. But some of the people in the chat room too said that they thought Evolution at least crossed.
Oh, an evolution, a corporate evolution. That was a corporate evolution.
Oh, I like that. That would be cool. Not bad. What else happened on Raw last night? We had what is it?
Matadores.
That's going to be Primo and Epico.
This means the Matadors.
We believe so. They're going to come back with high flyers, right?
The Matadors, they're bullfighters.
Oh, bullfighters. We had Christian. Basically, the idea here is anybody that talks shit about Triple H is going to be put in.
Or laughed at. He found out. Or no, this was set up with the carpet trash. That's later.
Right.
The car gets trashed, and he finds out everybody's laughing at him. And when he finds out everybody's laughing at him, he says, "Well, you're all coming out on the stage, and if anybody laughs or talks shit, you're fired." And that's when they would interview the guys before the match.
Right.
None of them had anything to say because they were afraid they could get fired.
Exactly. And
made the top babyface look like pussies. Who did they interview?
I know.
Miz,
Big Show,
and they wouldn't say anything.
They wouldn't say anything.
And then almost this.
Yeah. So Christian, I mean, they were asking about Triple H, and just as Christian is about to talk about Triple H and his recent action, Randy Orton shows up, and that sets up a match between Randy Orton and Christian for later in the night during Raw last night. We had CM Punk and Curtis Axel, and they had something on the app with Punk before his promo, but he was talking about the poll earlier.
He was begging the fans to vote for C on the app interview, and then they come back from the app, they come back from the commercial, and it's CM Punk versus Curtis Axel. We find out that 81% of the vote went to C.
Surprise.
Yeah, so if Punk beats Axel in this match, he gets his hands on Paul Heyman, and he tells us what happened.
It was just, I mean, they gave the match a decent amount of time. Paul Heyman was outside, and CM Punk kept going after him at different points.
Kept being distracted. He wanted to get his hands on Heyman. Same as the Lesnar match.
And then at the end of the match, they brought out the handcuffs, right? This was awesome, man. I mean, Paul Heyman, we were talking last night, man. You can put Paul Heyman, who did I say? Paul Heyman, Bully Ray, and Larry David, who's obviously not a pro wrestler, but you could put all three of those guys on my television screen with a live microphone for 3 hours. I'd eat it up.
I would say Larry David, who knows? But you put a pen and a paper in the hands of Larry David and Paul Heyman, like you said, write me something. I'm reading it every time. But yeah, we're talking more about performances here. Paul Heyman as a performer, awesome. Maybe untouchable. Maybe. I don't think there's anybody in the company quite as what's the good word to use? He's not just.
I mean, you're talking facial expressions. You're talking
creative.
Just charisma. He oozes it, man.
He uses charisma, but there's little touches, little details, little intangible, little things that he does that just make a world of difference. Make something cool, awesome. Make something good, great. He's got the ability to do that with his own performances, and as a promoter, we saw in the past in the original ECW, had the same skill set where he could take a guy and say, this motherfucker's amazing at this, pretty damn good at that, these things he's not so good at, we'll hide that shit, and then really put the focus on these other things.
Alright, well, that's a good point you bring up, because
I bring up good points all the time.
Yeah, every once in a while.
No.
Curtis Axel. And there's something, I mean, Curtis Axel is with Paul Heyman right now, and you're thinking, alright, Paul Heyman can pretty much take anybody. I understand Paul Heyman's not writing the guy's stuff right now, but you figure,
he helps him. When we go out there and try and do this, and you say this,
no doubt. But Curtis Axel,
he doesn't have it. There's something missing.
There's something missing.
Yeah, something missing.
And it's the way he talks. And I know that they got Heyman with him to help him talk, but they're still having him talk.
Well, while we're talking about Axel and specifically the segment last night, because what happened with CM Punk beat Curtis Axel and he gets to do the with Heyman. So this turned into a whole thing with the cuffs, like you said. A long beating on Punk where they haven't cuffed. They would have put the shit with the kendo stick and the chairs and this and that. And Heyman got into it, screaming while he's hitting him, I loved you. I gave my heart to you. I was a father to you. Doing all these cool things. Those little things we talked about that makes it that much more of an impressive performance. But Axel, during this very serious, emotional, I fathered you. I gave you everything in my heart. Blah, blah, blah. It's very emotional, very real, very passionate. And Axel is like laughing and acting like it's a joke. And he's just, Heyman's so clearly making this a serious, passionate, emotional thing. And Axel's like giggling while he's doing his
snarking and
just very bland and boring and generic shit from Axel while Heyman's doing all this awesome, little creative thing.
Something with Axel, even despite the fact, like Boone said, that he's with Paul Heyman. And
he gets the rub by association just for being with somebody that good. And he's on the map. Nobody knew Curtis Axel a few months ago. It's a brand new name, new gimmick, etc. And he's over way more than he ever was Michael McGillicuddy or whoever the fuck else.
But as soon, I guarantee you, I mean, listen, he's not going to be Paul Heyman for the rest of his career. You break them up, I guarantee you Curtis Axel is a nobody.
They can fire him tomorrow if they broke him up today, and nobody would know the difference. That's how much he needs Heyman to matter
the second Curtis Axel leaves Paul Heyman, he's going back.
He's good in the ring. For a guy his size, he does some different shit. I think you've seen everything in matches, especially. He does some cool, creative shit in matches. He's a great worker. He's just not very good at talking, or there's something missing there, and that's why Heyman's with him, but they're not pushing him enough. It's kind of too late to take him seriously now. Exactly. They need to give Heyman somebody new.
I got no problem. VaderMan86 in the chat room, no problem with his in-ring work. He's a great worker. Yeah. It's just there's something missing, and it deals with his promos and everything else.
Facial reactions.
And WWE knows that. That's why they put him with Paul Heyman, but there's still something, like Boone said, it's too late now. Too late, you know.
You can't wishy-washy book somebody and then all right, now like Big Show's a good example.
Right.
1 year he's a killer, then he's a comedy act, then he's a cleaner guy, then he's a main eventer, then he's a filler, then he's a bridge match, then he's you know what I mean? You can't. Eventually, people just don't give a fuck. Switching back and forth.
Guys, submit all our questions for rapid fire. We're going to do your rapid fire questions in our numero tres. Tell them. where they can submit the rapid fire
counted up things. They can submit rapid fire questions or comments at facebook.com/ Ryan Clark WZR. Facebook.com/ Ryan Clark WZR. Get over there. Comments, questions. We'll get to as many as we can. An hour number trace. This is how we interact with you, the people. Facebook.com/ you. Ryan Clark WZR. We
the people.
And in a loud, clear voice, I want you to say,
Alistair Overstream.
Alistair Overstream. And we the people. You got them son bitch.
Natalia.
I tell you good.
Natalia. And Brie Bella rematch from SummerSlam?
Yeah, indeed. A rematch from Access and SummerSlam if you added Eva Marie at ringside.
Right. The whole thing here was post-match. AJ Lee cut herself a pipe bomb promo, my brother.
Well, she did that. It's what called it a pipe bombshell. But
is that what he tweeted? Yeah.
He said pipe bombshell, not a pipe bomb, because she is a bombshell. But right. Yeah, so JoJo Offman did the ring announcing, so they had that total diva. Then they had Natalia versus Brie Bella, but at ringside they had Eva Marie and Nikki Bella on Brie's side, and they had the Funkadactyls, I believe. Am I right? Funkadactyls over on Natalia's side. After the match, AJ Lee comes out, starts to cut a promo, a pipe bombshell, and it was a really fucking good promo, although you'd never know it.
Tell them why, Boone.
Well, let's do it this way. I'll start talking and then just interrupt the living shit out of me like I do to you, but word. Right. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm cutting a promo. Come on, I'm cutting a promo.
Yeah.
And this week, I'm going to kick your ass. Because last week, backstage in Rockford, and then next week in Chicago, Illinois.
I'm way better than you.
I want to tell everybody that,
no, Boone,
this is what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
It was ridiculous.
Where AJ is cutting this awesome
fucking brilliant promo.
And all you hear is the Bella Twins. And here's the thing, though. There was a camera that was clearly placed right in front of the Bella Twins. And they kept shooting back.
So they were supposed to do it.
But it was so overdone that the Bellas overshadowed everything that AJ Lee was saying during it.
Well, it was like this. AJ's cutting his pipe bomb, making this awesome promo, like we said. If you really listen to that, and it's going to be hard to try and go back and listen to it without being annoyed by the heckling cunt. It was brutal, man. It was bitch. They're so egotistic. Aren't they? Man, they are sick. But she's cutting this great promo, and obviously they're supposed to react to it. That's why there's a camera right on them. They might have even mic'd a little bit. But I said to you during the Raw play-by-play commentary with the WZR last night, I said, now let me ask you this. Do you think they walked all of them backstage and they said, all right, good job, that's what we wanted? Or do you think they would be like, fellas, I know we asked you to react, but what the fuck was that? Like, that was a bit much, no? Like, you can't talk through her entire promo. Like,
I would hope,
shut the fuck up a little
I would hope that WWE management did say, yo, listen, you overreacted, but I don't know.
I just say in that respect, like, just to paint a picture for you, so when they get back, like, is that really what they wanted?
Is that what they wanted, or did the Bellas trying to get a little bit of heat?
Right. God, what the fuck? They ruined a great
promo.
I would go as far as to say that might be the best Diva promo. How many great Diva promos in history are there? It was really good. It was a fucking mini CM Punk pipe bomb kind of promo.
Even Punk, like you said, Punk came out on Twitter and said that's how it's done.
Yeah,
you know,
he said that's how it's done. It's a pipe bomb show, and like it was little mini pipe bomb, and it was great. But like, imagine if CM Punk did his infamous pipe bomb promo,
and somebody's in the background screaming.
Cena was in the ring and just got put through the table. Imagine if he was doing the exact same thing. Would Punk have even gotten over as much as he did? No, of course probably not. And I think the same thing's going to happen. AJ's not going to get that much more over based on that promo because
all you're going to remember is the Bella Twins in the background screaming. Oh,
and it's not. You're certainly not. It doesn't like. It's not a promo like that CM Punk pipe bomb. I've gone back on YouTube and watched it 2 times just because it was a great promo, cleverly
and you're not going to do that with it.
Cleverly thought out, great performed. It was performed great. Made a lot of great points. AJ was doing all those things. But the performance suffered so much because you couldn't hear it because of the heckling, so it's not going to have the same effect, I don't think.
Right. The heckling would have been fine, what people are trying to say, in doses, right? Yeah. But it was just non-stop from the beginning.
And I told you
where it was every other word.
They wouldn't stop.
They wouldn't stop.
And I told you during the commentary last night that in my own opinion, and I'm just guessing, I could be wrong. That's why I also said I wonder if they went backstage just to paint the picture of that scenario and said, that's what we wanted, good job. Because
you think that they overreacted?
They were personally offended.
Right.
Not offended. They were personally pissed that she was getting them.
Right.
She was fucking putting them in their place, making great points. She's an actual wrestler. They're just fucking models. Right. She's, they don't care. They don't want to be on TV. She wants to be a wrestler. She's making all these great points, and she's killing them. She's getting the better of them on the mic. So they, having fragile little egos and being bashed in a good way by AJ. She's doing it in character, et cetera, but she's making these great points. I think their fragile little egos couldn't take it, and they fucking lashed out.
So let me ask you this.
Let me finish real quick because
AJ face turn. It wasn't a face turn, right?
I don't even know if she's a heel at this point anymore. Yeah. Right. I mean, go ahead. Now that the Ziggler part's over, she could be either one. But yeah, I don't remember the rest of the point. Well, I'm trying to think of it. I can't remember. She was just making these great points. They're killing it with that bullshit, and in the end, it's not going to really do anything for AJ or anything for the fellas. Whereas if they would have shut the fuck up, that could have been the beginning of the Divas division actually getting some,
I told you last night that AJ's now got 6 new challengers, right?
Yeah.
She's got a promo on all 6 of them. Fucking Axel and Natalia was out there, Bella Twins, and Eva Marie, I think is the other one. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Eva Marie can't wrestle a life of her, man. She's so green, but she's got the look.
So hot.
So hot, right?
She's like a great heel. You really think she's a stuck-up bitch. Whether she's the sweetest sweetheart in the world, who knows? Right. The Bella Twins, too, that was the other point I was trying to make. Whereas, obviously, it wasn't just their fragile egos and their lashing out. They were probably supposed to react in a certain way like that, but I think they went overboard with the reaction because it really got to them.
Yeah.
AJ was really getting to them. I think that's why they reacted that much, as opposed to just a little bit.
We had Rob Van Dam against Alberto Del Rio. This was a non-title match. It was a pretty good match. Well, it lasted. Ricardo Rodriguez was out there. He
took his suit off and showed the RVD shirt.
The idea here was if Rob Van Dam was able to defeat Del Rio, he would get a rematch.
That's the setup, yeah. If he wins Night of Champions, it'll be a rematch for the title. And he did. He ended up winning, so we'll have a Night of Champions for the World Heavyweight Del Rio defending against RVD.
And then we're going to have Daniel Bryan against Randy Orton for the
WWE Championship. And they also announced CM Punk versus Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel in a handicap elimination. Where if Heyman doesn't fight, he has to leave WWE. Correct. So that's going on at Night of Champions.
Ryback backstage, doing the bullying gimmick. You ever notice as soon as the Ryback will go and bully somebody, and they shoot back to the announcers, and week after week for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Be a star,
anti-bullying.
Be a star. Obviously, Ryback's not part of the Be a Star rally. No. Blah 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 blah. Every single time. They shoot back, and it's Jerry Lawler that does that.
They have to remind everybody that they're against bullying because they just got done showing somebody being a complete fucking bully. Why, obviously, you would think if they're going to book him as a bully, he should have to lose every match. Cause then it's showing that bullies never win, and it doesn't do you any good to be a bully. But they're making him just a bully, and there's no consequences yet, and from what we hear, he's in line for a major push.
Well, the idea here is eventually somebody's going to stand up to Ryback and not be bullied.
Well, that's going
to put him into a new feud.
There's been so long since I've seen a match. Isn't his gimmick in matches to just walk out and leave and quit?
That's what he's done as
he's a cowardly bully that only has balls if he's bigger than you and stronger than you. If you're actually somebody who can wrestle, he'll run away from you. He's a bully.
We had Christian and Randy Orton. Orton picked up the win here with an RKO. That was that. It was a pretty good match while it lasted. A lot of near falls towards the end as well.
They showed the Daniel Bryan thing too.
Daniel Bryan popped up on the Titantron, right? He's backstage and
you see the Escalade.
He's near.
So far, we can't tell what's going on, but then he points out some graffiti, if you will.
Graffiti.
I believe it was pink, spray paint,
orange,
right? But yes. He said, we're not done. Come over here. Yes. Just spray painted yes all over the car, which we said earlier in the show. Anytime you see a vehicle, especially presented in that form on WWTV, it's a matter of time before it gets trashed. Vince's limo, the airplane, the WWE headquarters building. fucking Austin
Well,
running
I
around
guess-
shit with monster trucks. Hold on,
I
I'm
guess-
going somewhere with that.
Okay.
All they did to this car was spray paint. Yeah, they could just wash that right off.
Well,
They're
wash
not
it up.
committed. The old days, they would have had a cinder block come
Oh,
through
yeah,
the window.
no doubt,
They
no
would have
doubt.
Brian would have taken shit in the gas tank.
That's what I was saying last night. I guess it's a lot cheaper than, it's a lot cheaper to spray paint the car and put a new paint job on it than destroy it and have, you're talking a new paint job, maybe $1,000, right? Or destroy the vehicle and pay $10,000 to get it fixed.
Or, or pay $50,000 for an Escalade and just trash it and never use it again.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What else? We had Swagger and Titus O'Neil. I thought this was a tag team match, but it wasn't. The previous week on Raw, Darren Young, we're going to talk about it now with number 3. When we come back, Darren Young came out and revealed that he was gay.
Holy shit, we're already done the second hour.
I know. We're getting, we got 1 more hour to go. Listen, obviously, Darren Young, he comes out, he reveals that he's gay, right?
Very coincidental.
We're going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in hour 3. But, Darren Young, obviously, they're going to feature him on TV. The media's hot. Everybody's around him. And this week on Raw, if you guys ever noticed in tag team, tons of
mainstream.
If you guys ever noticed in tag team matches, Darren Young would never get the pin.
I was going to ask.
Always Titus O'Neil.
Who was and there was always one that would do the good too. There was a promo he cut on commentary one of the two, where you were like, yo, that guy's kind of got it. Like,
Titus O'Neil.
It was
Titus O'Neil. And
then they had Abe Washington who said that racist shit or did
Right.
something on Twitter. He got fired.
Right.
So Darren Young was always just a guy in the team. Titus was the guy with talent.
Titus O'Neil was the guy on that team, and every time when they were in a tag team match, when they would get to 1, 2, 3, Titus O'Neil was the dude that always
Probably
made it
because
up.
he's bigger and he
And
can
then
talk.
last week they were in a tag team match, and Darren Young got the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, he got the shine.
He
He got the hot
the-
comeback.
Right. He got the hot tag.
Doing
He
selling.
exactly.
Young gets the hot tag. He's all over
Got the hot tag,
crowd
came in,
pops.
got the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then this week, Darren Young was out at ringside, but I was surprised that it wasn't Darren Young against Jack Swagger. It was Titus
It was
O'Neil.
the exact opposite. Last week it was Cesaro and Young, so it was the same tag team. This week,
Sure,
the other
you're right.
2 members of the tag team, they
You're
can't make it obvious that they're pushing him because he's gay, but at the same time, it's obvious that they're pushing him because he's gay. The guys would have never had TV matches 2 weeks in a row.
Never. And very possibly could have been released, but
certainly,
you brought it up last night. The guy's got job security now. I mean,
let's
time being.
if we're going to make points, I want to make
As
far as this match, specific to this match, who's the bigger tag team? Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro or the primetime players?
Right, come on.
So obviously last week, before the gay shit happened, if they even got TV time, it would have been Cesaro's going to beat Young if they're having a match. Because Cesaro and Swagger are 2 individual stars in the tag team, whereas primetime players are like the Usos. And these other they don't mean shit. They're just tag teams to fill matches on shows. Whereas now, Darren Young gets to win against a single star like Cesaro. Jack Swagger, a single star, former world champion, jobbing to Titus O'Neil. This would have never happened before that.
Never would have.
Ever in a million years.
So they've got all the media.
So they're doing it in a very subtle way where it's like, well, this week it wasn't even Darren Young in the ring and blah, blah, blah. They wouldn't have even had matches if this story would have come out. And if they did, it would have just been to job to whoever they're in the match with. Right. Not only are they winning the matches, they're getting hot spots, they're getting good timing. Right. 10 o'clock hour last week. This week it was right before the main event. Yeah, right before the end there. So they're giving them these great ring segments, giving them not only wins but against big names, and they're letting them have these shining moments for the crowd. Like Darren Young was on fire last week in that fucking match. He got a bunch of shit in. And in a tag match, he got to be the hot tag. Like it's subtle, but they're clearly doing shit. They're clearly capitalized. It's not even affecting get. Let's say any. I'm trying to think of a story that could have got that kind of mainstream coverage. Name something else you could have done. You could have adopted like a starving child or something and got tons of anybody that gets that much press, they're going to put on TV.
They're going to put them on TV
because they're in the media.
They're going to capitalize on it.
Exactly. The same way they were doing with Swagger and Dub Coulter when that fucking what's his face.
That the guy on CNN or whatever. Buck something.
Bill Buck? No.
It was what was his name, guys? The guy on Fox. Beck. Glenn Beck.
Yeah, Beck. So yeah, it's the same thing. If they can press that shit, they're gonna capitalize. The fact that he got that much and for what he got it for coming out of the closet, and he's the first.
Right.
openly gay.
And don't think
so.
for
This
one
is the
second.
example. This is a chance for WWE to show we're not anti-gay.
We're not anti-gay, but don't think for one second that there are people backstage in WWE that are rolling their eyes that do have a problem with it, but you're never going to see them say anything about it. Because if they come out and they speak against Darren Young coming out of the closet,
you got to get that jail free card. Like you said, let's just say, for example, they were planning on doing some spring cleaning and firing a bunch of guys. Darren Young,
he's not going anywhere.
Darren Young would have been first on the list before this because he's a guy that he doesn't mean shit for ratings, house shows, he doesn't sell tickets, doesn't move pay-per-views, no merchandise to speak of worth of shit. He's just a guy, right? He's somebody that would absolutely be fired. He just made himself indispensable. For now.
You
can't fire that guy now because it'll be they fired him because he's gay.
Until the media dies down. I'm saying 2 years from now, a year from now.
Well, the media's already died down, but if they fired him immediately, there would be a lot of
the media would come right back. But I'm saying 2 years from now, when everything really dies down, of course Darren Young can be fired. I mean, it happened to Orlando Jordan. Orlando Jordan came out. But right now,
that was my point. Like he's got to get a jail free card because if they were going to do some releases, he would have been first on the list. Now he's the only reason they can't fire him. Even if he could suck shit. He could be the worst.
They're not firing.
He could talk shit to Vince right to his face. Yep. And they can't really fire him because that's the media spin. The media would immediately be like, oh, the guy comes out of the closet,
spin it like you
comes out of the closet, and 3 weeks later he's fired. You know what I mean? So he's got to get out of jail free card.
And then the media would accuse WWE, like Boone said earlier,
that would be a story,
being biased against
the only reason he got fired is because he's gay.
The media would spin it like you wouldn't believe. It's like Boone said, he's got to get out of jail free card.
And it was really coincidental. They just happened to be
right before SummerSlam too.
Right before the second biggest show of the year. The first question out of the reporter's mouth just happens to be, what do you think about this gay NBA player, Collins, whatever sport he plays, football?
What would happen if a gay pro wrestler was in WWE?
And he's like, well, you know what?
First question, too.
Now that you say it, guess what? I'm gay. Well, you don't say it.
It was very subtle, dude.
Oh, what a coincidence.
It was very subtle, man.
It was some, for the longest time, I thought it was fake.
Right.
But I think he's definitely gay. But I still think it was set up for him to come out like that. I don't think there was a coincidence that TMZ called him in the airport.
No.
First question. So obviously he was like, you know what? I come out before SummerSlam. They'll put me on the show. I'll get a big paycheck. I'll get some promotion. And whether it didn't really do anything.
And he said that it was his boyfriend.
It didn't really do anything for him at SummerSlam, but it got, like you said, because it happened to be right before SummerSlam, all this mainstream attention he got, whether you like it or not, was pretty damn great for WWE because they happened to have a big show coming up. And they got all this promotion
the night after SummerSlam, which is like the second biggest Raw of the year, behind maybe the post-WrestleMania Raw or a special themed edition of Raw, he goes out there and gets a huge win on the post-SummerSlam.
By the way, guys are bringing up Adrian Adonis, Goldust, Philly, and Chuck. Those were gay acts.
Right, they were giving
real. This guy's
you got Canyon.
I had to.
Canyon, Orlando Jordan.
So we had to fix
he said that his boyfriend
looked a little like
WZROnline.com/photos. Boom put up some photos of his boyfriend. I put him up.
I still haven't even seen him.
I think his name was Nick.
You said he's the friend looking one. He's clearly the girl.
Right. He's clearly
that's probably insensitive.
So anyway, we'll talk about that more. we pretty much addressed it here, but in hour number 3, we're going to be running down the news and rumors. We got about 1 minute to go, 2 minutes to go before we finish it up. I mean, the main event of Raw last night, The Shield and Daniel Bryan. Gauntlet we're at right now. It was a gauntlet match.
They announced it earlier in the show that if he can get by Seth Rollins, then he'll have to fight Dean Ambrose. If he gets by him, he has to fight Roman Reigns. He's going to run the gauntlet.
Bryan Danielson against Tyler Black on Monday Night Raw.
Bryan Danielson, Tyler Black, Bryan Danielson versus Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, too, man. Wow. Awesome. Take it from an ROH mark, man. That was awesome.
We got to go to the show, man. I want to see this shit live.
So, we're going December 17th, man. No doubt. Let's see. First match, Daniel Bryan wound up pinning Rollins, and then they immediately went to Dean Ambrose, right? Dean Ambrose comes in. And,
Rollins, too, they had the high spot. Was it in the match here where they did a German suplex off the top rope? You caught that?
No.
There's a clip. I'll show you. Oh man, they get on the top rope, the very top. Both of them are standing on the top rope in a German suplex. He goes to throw him over his head. Seth Rollins does a full flip in the air while he's being thrown, lands on his stomach instead of his back.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy.
So Raw went off the air. It was the Shield was celebrating over Daniel Bryan. He's laid out dead. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, same thing happened. Randy Orton hit the RKO, and all the McMahons and Randy Orton stood tall to end last week's fight.
Yeah, they pretended that they were going to let him back in the ring and move the security, this and that. And as soon as he goes to step in the ring, bam, RKO. That's what it was. So
last night they go off the air. It was the Shield standing tall over Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan, I mean, he's the underdog. Eventually, Daniel Bryan's going to get the WWE title. We all know that. But it makes for a good storyline where you've got the baby face, which is chasing the heel, and he's doing everything.
The underdog,
he's the underdog, and eventually he's going to wind up winning the WWE title. But in the meantime, I think they need to wait longer than Night of Champions. They need to go. I'm thinking Survivor Series, and I brought this up last night. Daniel Bryan, Survivor Series. The key word being survivor. He's survived all these beatdowns. He's survived management.
And we're all,
he survived, right? Survivor Series. Daniel Bryan wins the WWE. It makes for a good storyline. Tell me it doesn't. It does. He survived all the management that's been against him. Survived all the RKOs, the beatdowns. Everybody's against him. He survived it all. Daniel Bryan, WWE Champion, Survivor Series. No,
you can call that off the word Survivor, huh?
I
like it too. I like you said. I think Night of Champions is too quick for them to switch the title if they're going to do it, and I think they are. So the next pay-per-view is that Survivor Series after Night of Champions.
Night of Champions Survivor Series is November, so Night of Champions
is one in
September. Hell in a Cell. I think we're missing Hell in a Cell, right?
Yeah.
I think it's.
They're talking about scrapping that all together, aren't they?
Not after this year. After this year. So you got Night of Champions.
Well, that's what we're talking about. They're talking about scrapping the gimmick pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, not the match Battleground. Battleground. Yeah. So they're talking about scrapping the concept of gimmick pay-per-views and even the matches. We'll still have Hell in a Cell matches, but not an entire pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. We'll still have Elimination Chamber matches, but et cetera, et cetera. But
submit rapid fire, guys.
Last chance. Facebook.com/ Facebook.com/ Ryan Clark WZR. Get your last few in. We'll get to as many as we can. We got an hour left with you, maybe a little longer. Depends on
we're talking lots of news when we come back. Brooke Hogan fired from TNA. Ted DiBiase.
Hardcore Justice a little bit.
Hardcore Justice. Lots of TNA and
WWE Rampage. Ted DiBiase, Darren Young. We'll talk more about him.
Tons of stuff. You're listening to WZR Radio, WZR TV, Tuesdays with Matt Boone and Ryan Clark. We'll be back right after this. Whoa.
Gotta hit a motherfucking hey now one time.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
We're back.
Hey now. Here we are. Here we are. We made that a quick break for you, right? Man, it is hot once we walk out this bitch, right? Woo! Alright, we're here for our numeral. Trace, we're playing catch up tonight. We weren't here last week for personal issues, but we're back and better than ever tonight. We got our live chat room on and popping. WZROnline.com /chat. WZROnline.com /chat. Get there. Lots and lots of people in there as always tonight. In our numeral trace, we're going to be running down news and rumors. Got some heartburn there, bud? You alright?
You ever get that? Everybody's going to make a joke if I have to use the word swallow, but you ever get that where you can't swallow?
I don't get that, but I get, like, if I'm eating food or I drink too fast, I'll get this, it's like I can't breathe.
Like a knot?
Yeah, it's like a big knot.
You never get that where you're going. You can't get the swallow down like you can't get it? That happens to me sometimes. It freaks me the fuck out. I'm like, well, shit, great.
So in hour number 3, we're going to be basically...
Everybody's had a situation where they can't swallow at a certain point in time. Everybody's had that.
Here come the lame jokes, right?
It's not funny if I tell everybody a before time. You know what I mean? You got to do it when it's unexpected.
All right.
I teach you kids about comedy.
Got to teach them kids about comedy.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna be. There's a lot of news over the past week, man. I got a list that we're gonna go through. We're gonna talk about it, and then your rapid fire questions. At all? You guys been submitting rapid fire?
Refresh.
What you got here, man? You submitting me some rapid fire tonight?
23 of them.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, no doubt. You guys can submit rapid fire questions at
Facebook.com/Ryan Clark WZR.
Acer, bro. Acer. We gotta like reference Acer, right? Let's call him out individually.
Writing books,
right? Let's say this, Acer. From now on, right? You gotta do one line. See this big old thing? We're gonna have to ignore that. So one line.
It's a great question.
It's a great question, but we gotta ignore it because you can't put it into one line every week, though.
Here's a good way to reference it, especially Acer. He's a repeat offender, like you said. Okay. Ask yourself this question. Yeah. Go through that, and what words are necessary to ask the question you want to answer? Anything that isn't necessary, try and exclude that from the future. You don't need Ryan and Matt.
Right.
You don't need He's telling the whole backstory.
What do you think about the direction of AJ Styles? You think he's gonna re-sign with TNA or what? Bang!
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
And they say heel face. You say heel face. Like, you don't need to tell us, as the last 3 weeks have shown, he's had this and that. We don't need the backstory.
So we're doing the WZR radio, WZR TV, whatever you want to call us these days. We do radio on Monday nights, we do TV on Tuesday nights, right? We're doing a draft tomorrow night. Myself, Matt Boone, we're going to be in the draft. I see that. That's why I'm bringing it up. But we're going to do, it's kind of a fun league that we're going to do this year. I'm in another fantasy league as well, a couple buddies of mine. So I'm in a couple buddies. But Boone, this is going to be his first league, like he said.
Pop my fantasy cherry, and we're going to get the fantasy.
It's going to be a good time. So we're going to be able to talk about it. We'll let you guys know the standings here every week.
I'm going to kick everyone's ass.
I'm going to kick everybody's ass in 2 seconds. Right here, Fantasy King, Fantasy Champ. We'll get it done. But we're going to do a draft tomorrow night. That'll be a good time. I like 8:30 tomorrow night, quiet night, Wednesday night.
Wednesday 30.
Not bad, right?
I'll be there.
You better be there.
I'll be there.
All right, so we finished up Monday Night Raw from last night. Like I said, let's get into the news and rumors. Darren Young, we'll touch base on this one more time. I mean, your overall thoughts about a pro wrestler who comes out, reveals his gay. I guess I'll give my thoughts first. I mean, there are going to be guys in WWE that are going to roll their eyes and that aren't going to be a fan of it. But they're obviously not going to come out and they're not going to say anything because if they do, pretty much gone, or there's going to be you're a heat magnet if you come out and speak up against it. just because of all the media attention. But overall, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, everybody is entitled to their own sexual preference. Some people say that gay people were born with it. It's genes that come from the parents. I don't necessarily believe that in genes. Yeah. But I don't have a problem with it. What do you think overall? Are there going to be people against it?
Of course, there's going to be people that have the old school mentality that is gay and gross. I happen to think it's gay and gross, but it's not something that you speak out about, especially if you work in a corporate environment. Because especially a publicly traded company like WWE, you can't have guys running around gay bashing an employee at a company. That's just bad. It's the kind of media.
Are you against gays or?
No, I don't have an opinion either way. I don't give a fuck who fucks who, as long as I don't have to watch it or know about it. God bless you.
Do your own thing.
If you ask me my opinion on it, I think it's gross.
Right.
Okay, but no.
We're straight people, though. I mean,
I don't want you. No, I'm just kidding. But the same, like I said, do I have a problem with it personally? No. Right. If you ask me my personal opinions on that subject, I think it's gross. But no, I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
A lot of people do. I mean, it's not. You know what I mean? I mean, straight people aren't going to be. I mean, we don't want to see it. You know what I mean? But there are people that are gay, and I've got no problem. I mean, what you do in your own personal life.
I like Ryan Clark's thing. He said, if two guys want each other, that means more women for me. That's a great point.
There you go.
But no, as far as this specific, because we're talking about a guy and not a thing. We're not talking about gays. We're not talking about homosexuals. We're talking about Darren Young as a name, as a human being, as an individual. His impact will be temporarily. He's going to get pushed. Right. Like you said, he's getting matches on TV, getting wins, getting over because of this media attention that he got for this announcement. So for the short term, it's great for his career. Also, like you said, he gets to get out of jail free card. He can't be fired right now unless he does something crazy like murder someone.
Right.
Because no matter what they fire him for, it's going to be blamed on the fact that he came out. Oh, he got fired because he's gay, as opposed to, let's say he screws up 2 of his matches in the next 3 matches. Maybe in the past they could have fired him. Hey, you fucked up. We don't really need you. You're not moving tickets anyway. You just screwed up your last 2 matches. You're fired. If that same scenario plays out right now, he screws up 2 of his matches.
The media is going to blame it on him.
They don't need him, etc. They can't fire him because, like you said, the spin will be, oh, he's gay and he got fired. Not he fucked up and he got fired. Right. So in the short term, he gets the push. He really gets the fucking get out of jail free card in a lot of cases. Long term, who knows? Are more guys going to come out? Right. If they do they all get pushed? Does it become the gay federation where you only get a push if you're gay? I'm joking, but I'm just saying, that extreme. Is it going to be a bunch of guys come out because they see what it did for Darren Young's career? Are there going to be guys who...
Well, that's why,
backstage, especially the backstage part of it, too. Who's going to fuck with him? Who's going to shit in his bag? Or, who's going to pull ribs on him?
There's going to be ribs. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But they got to keep it low, because if Vince management finds out he's being ribbed because he's gay, of course, that leaks out to the TMZs of the world. That's going to be the same as if they fired him. It's going to be, he's getting fucked with. Especially when they got the anti-bullying campaign going. Exactly. If you have somebody getting bullied and they're getting bullied because of their sexual orientation, that's a bad,
I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen right now because the news just came out. But down the line, there's probably going to be some ribs.
Even JBL made some kind of comment on commentary last night. Very subtle, it wasn't even a big deal, but you can almost tell what his opinion is.
Exactly.
You could be like, he's an old cowboy that does not like, he doesn't.
And some people don't, man. Some people don't.
Some people are bothered by it.
Some people are against gays and
well, you gotta look at it this way too. As much as you, like Howard Stern,
to each their own, man.
But Howard Stern, I'll use it as an example, because here's the spin he put on it. Well, he's Darren Young, gay, he's a wrestler. Of course, there's a bunch of sweaty, half-naked guys rolling around. I say that for a reason. Hold on. Because, let me ask you this question. If you're in the company, and you are a person who has a problem with gays, you are a homophobic, and you have to go out there, and like it or not, you're going to be a sweaty, half-naked guy that's going to be all up in your grill. Do you want the half-naked guy's nuts in your face if he's gay and you think he likes it? Does it bother you? Like, there's going to be people who try to make that point. A good example, not a great example, but a decent example, Magic Johnson. When he came out that he had HIV or AIDS, a lot of basketball players, a lot of guys didn't want to play because they were scared of what it could mean. Like, he gets cut in a match. Let's say Darren Young gets cut. He doesn't have AIDS, as far as we know. Gays are more likely to get AIDS. That's one of the top ways it's passed.
It's what Boone's the point. It's reality. It's reality that people are going to think this way, and there are going to be some people that are against it. And it seems like in these days, if you speak up against it and you say, I don't want to go out there, I don't want to work with Darren Young, that's not going to go over well with WWE management.
No.
And it's sad. It's sad because if you don't want to work, let's say that
Do you think there's guys that have spoken up and said, I don't want to work with them?
I don't think anybody in WWE has spoken up. But there's some that are feeling that way and they're afraid to speak up. And I think it's sad that if you're against somebody that is gay and you don't want to go out there and you don't want to work with him because due to that fact, you should be able to go and tell WWE management, hey, I have a problem with this. I don't want to work with Darren Young. That if you feel that you're against gays, and there's no problem with it, and that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but you should be able to tell WWE management that, and they should say, okay, and there should be no heat against you, and they should move on. That won't be the case in WWE. You speak out against it, I guarantee there's automatic heat on you. You're going to be, you're not going to be inspired because you don't work with a gay guy, but it would be an issue. It would be even a bigger issue if the media got hold of it, found out, and reported about it. Now, I do have to address. I just went away. Jonesy in the chat room. I mean, listen to you. It's reality, man.
It's
I have no problem with it. I have
he's saying
absolutely
again.
no problem.
CK Poker said, "You guys sound ignorant, dude. Do you think it would be okay for someone to say I am not wrestling a black guy?" Jackass! I have to point this out. We're not sitting here saying that a guy should say, or it's okay for a guy to say, I don't want to wrestle because he's gay. We're sitting here discussing what could be the ramifications of this announcement. We're discussing in a hypothetical situation, could somebody go to management and say, I don't want to wrestle because he's gay? We're not saying that, A, that's happening, B, that if it did, that we condone it. We're just presenting you scenarios. There are people that don't want to go out there and work with a black man. There are people that don't want to go out there and work with a gay man. It's the reality of it. Do I feel that way? No, I have no problem with it. I can go out there and wrestle a black person. I have no problem with that. Or a gay person, I have absolutely no problem. There are people that are like that do have a fear of wrestling a gay person, or don't want to wrestle black people. Not me and you. Not me and you. Speaking for me now. But I agree with you. I'm just saying. The guy's acting like we're sitting here saying these things. We're saying what could be happening. We're saying if this is happening, is it right or wrong? We're not even taking the position. So the fact that you're getting defensive is interesting. I'll just say that.
You're right. Get to our live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat, WZROnline.com/chat. All right, let's move on from Darren Young. Brooke Hogan, man. Going from TNA Wrestling, turns out that it's just another cost-cutting measure.
Yeah.
They've been making cuts with the Gut Check people and Brooke Hogan. The thing that immediately crossed my mind, Brooke Hogan and everybody's mind, is what about her father?
What about Eddie?
Hulk?
Yeah.
Did Hulk approve of the firing? Is Hulk pissed off that Brooke got fired? According to people in TNA, Hulk, first of all, never wanted Brooke in the wrestling business in the first place, and Brooke Hogan signing with TNA, according to people close to Hogan, Hulk had no idea that Brooke was coming into TNA in the first place. It was a side deal that happened between Brooke and Dixie Carter, and when Brooke, popped up on TMZ that Brooke had signed with TNA, Hulk was kind of like, oh, what?
And that's the public. Okay, maybe that's how it came out in the public. I guarantee you, before Brooke was hired, Hulk was at no doubt. I'm sure he had at least be made aware of what was happening. And that's what I'm asking you now. When she was fired, do you think he was in on this decision? Do you think they went to him before they fired her? Do you think they went to him and said, do you mind? We need cut money. She doesn't wrestle. She's not drawing ratings. Why are we paying her this much money to cut promos when anybody else who can
I do not think they would have fired Brooke without going to Hulk first and saying, hey, listen, you know what I mean? Hulk's their top guy in TNA, so I'm sure they went to him first and said, hey, we're not really using her. We're paying her a lot of money. Can we, part ways? Not only that, but, I mean, Hulk Hogan's TNA contract expires in the next couple of months. Does he wind up expires next month? And we're going to talk about that. I mean, that's perfectly that'll lead us right in with AJ.
With the Brooke thing, I think, like you said, it was a cost-cutting measure, And the fact that she doesn't offer anything, what does she offer that somebody else couldn't do? She was out there cutting. She doesn't wrestle. Right. She's not big enough. She's a celebrity, but she's not a big enough celebrity that she was drawing ratings, selling pay-per-views, moving merchandise. She wasn't making the company any money, but she was costing the company a lot of money because she had a pretty good contract. Then you got to ask yourself, what are they paying her for? To cut promos. There's a million other girls that could cut the same promos, be in the same position, but also could contribute in the ring. Also has a history of knowing the business. So if it's the same functions being performed by these two people, why pay this one so much more than this one when this one can't even do what this one's capable of doing? Right. So obviously it was a perfect cost-cutting measure. Then to further illustrate how much it was a cost-cutting measure and the fact that TNA really is making cuts because of financial reasons, you look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles' contract expires next month, and there's a very real possibility that he might not
say
resign.
that AJ's contract expires as early as the end of this week.
It's the very beginning of September it expires. Okay. Yes. Right. So at the very beginning of September, they either re-sign him, and the dilemma here, the reason normally a guy as high profile as AJ Styles would be re-signed before the contract expires, just so the possibility of WWE, Ring of Honor, Japan doesn't even exist. They can't come in and grab him because they will already sign him before his contract expires, before he's a free agent. The reason they haven't is because of one sticking point in the negotiations. What is that sticking point? Money. The financial side of things. Why? The TNA says, listen, the guy's a great wrestler. He's been with us 10 years. He's a very loyal guy. He never went to WWE, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, there's 20 guys that can do what he did. He has great matches, but he doesn't sell pictures. He doesn't draw ratings. He's just a very good wrestler.
And Styles goes to WWE.
You can't just re-sign him. He's a very high price tag, right? They could give him that same price tag again, and they're probably willing to do that. But he's in a position where he doesn't have a whole lot longer left in his career. He's been working there 10 years. He's been loyal. He couldn't work harder than he does. He wants a raise. Well, TNA doesn't want to give him more money because they don't see a way to make more money back off of him. He can't accept less money after this long work for the company. If you're not moving up, you're moving out. Right? TNA at the same time says, we can't give you more money because you're not going to be delivering more money back to us, but we understand that you need more. So it's become a situation where he very well could end up signing with WWE, could end up signing with Japan.
I think AJ Styles goes to WWE. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong.
Is that your prediction?
AJ's a great writer. No, I think AJ winds up staying with TNA. I think they
figure it out.
They'll figure it out. And they're hoping by Thursday's TV taping, Live Impact this Thursday night, they're taping. You get the Live Impact on Thursday. Not really live. It's like on a 1 hour tape delay. But and then they tape on next week. They were hoping that they would have something. They would have something done and complete by Thursday's Impact tapings when AJ, arrives backstage. Right in mid-December.
When's our next pay-per-view? February?
Next pay-per-view is down February.
That's in December.
That's in October.
So they have the next pay-per-view show on TV. What is that?
The next one on TV, they have Hardcore Justice.
Not Destination X.
Next TNA themed Impact, guys. Not Hardcore Justice.
I wrote about this fucking thing and I don't even remember.
What's another favorite? No Surrender?
That's it.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, No Surrender.
Yeah. But I think AJ, they worked out the details. Hopefully they'll have it done by Thursday. We'll see what happens. Hulk Hogan, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him when his contract expires in the next couple of months.
Very interesting. And Sting is coming up pretty soon too.
Let's talk about this, man. Ted DiBiase released released a video yesterday on YouTube.com and revealed that he's going to be leaving WWE. Here's the deal, man. I reported exclusively a couple of months ago that DiBiase Jr. along with several others, JTG, Santino Marella, there's a couple guys backstage that are unhappy in WWE. Zack Ryder is one of the divas. Zack Ryder's another one. And a couple of divas who are just not happy with WWE. Ted DiBiase Jr.'s contract was coming up, expires very soon, within the next couple of days or the next week or so. That's the reason you haven't seen anything on WZR.com yet. It'll be the day that the contract expires. You will probably, more than likely, you'll see at WZR.com, we parted ways. We wish him the best in future endeavors. And when that day is, I don't know, maybe Friday, maybe Thursday, who knows, whenever, but you'll see an announcement on WZR.com. Been frustrated for a while, has wanted out. He basically, at one point, said, you know what, I'm going to give it until early 2013. I'll see if things turn around. I'll see if I'm getting a push. By that point, it didn't end up happening, and he finally just had enough. And there's a lot of other guys in WWE, like I said, we just brought up a couple of names that feel the exact same way, but they're sitting there doing not a lot of work and receiving a paycheck.
They get a great paycheck, too. That's a lot of times people don't realize. Okay, even if you're unhappy and creatively you'd like to do this in wrestling more than that, at the end of the day, they're very well paid. And they don't really have to work a 9 to 5. They get to see the country. And
if you're under contract with WWE, you cannot pursue outside endeavors, right? Yeah. Where DiBiase
wanted to do the lottery, but he couldn't because WWE has to own that. If you want to have a book come out, WWE has to be the publisher.
So DiBiase wants to go and try out other ventures, Hollywood, movies, things like that. Maybe even TNA. Maybe you never know. But he finally said, you know what? My contract's up. This is a good way to get out of WWE without burning any bridges. And basically say, hey, listen, man, I'm not being used the way I want to be used. It doesn't look like things are going to change, and I'm thinking about taking a break. I'll leave the door open down the line as long as you guys leave the door open, and I'll come back. He's got his father, DiBiase Sr., who's got good terms with WWE. I'm guessing eventually he'll probably be that in WWE.
I would hope so, because here's the thing. Back in the day, Legacy, and I didn't even watch the show that much back then, but they had the Legacy tag team with him and Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton was kind of the leader of the group or whatever there. Mm-hmm. I always thought DiBiase was the star of the two. I'm talking about Legacy, yeah. Orton was clearly the leader. Right. Between DiBiase and Rhodes, the two guys are trying to bring up the Orton's level through the use of making a faction. I thought he had the better look. He was the better worker. He had the better microphone skills. He doesn't have a fucking lisp. He's not a skinny little runt. He's got the father that great teacher and advisor.
Cody did too, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying he had the same things Cody had, and then some. Right. And yet Rhodes gets the big push. Well, DiBiase goes, they put him in a film. Let's go film the Marine 2 with you. Yeah. So they give him a chance in Hollywood, in their Hollywood studios, WWE studios, WWE films, whatever. Right. They never really bring him back. They never really use him. He does superstars matches, dark matches. He doesn't get an angle on TV. He doesn't get an opportunity. They always say, oh, we don't give pushes anymore. We give opportunities. And depending on what you do with those opportunities, you give more opportunities. He never got an opportunity. Yeah. And because, like you said, eventually it gets to the point where it's like, well, fuck. If you're not even going to give me a chance to do something, then I'm going to go somewhere else. Right. And it becomes a debate then. Are you getting paid enough to just kind of keep your mouth shut, and even though everything's wrong and you're not getting any chances, you're still getting paid. You want to take the chance of getting paid maybe a little less, but if you work hard and you get over, you get more money through the outlet of TNA. You want to go to Japan, and he can explore these options now. Hollywood, it just becomes the point, like, hopefully the guy can make as much money outside WWE as he does inside, because he's very talented, very underutilized, and it becomes like, well, he can stay there and get the big money, but he's never going to get a chance. He's never going to get a chance. His career's just going to run. You know what I mean? He's young. You're only young for so long. He's 30. Yeah. So, I mean, you go to TNA, see what you can do there. And the only unfortunate situation is guys who go to TNA and come back, they get jobbed out, they get held down, and that's the reason he's leaving. So even if he gets over to TNA, it's not like he can come back. And you know what I mean? He's going to play the dilemma.
We'll see what happens, but in the meantime, he's going to try to pursue some other opportunities right now. Like I said, he's been frustrated for over a year now. And there's a lot of other guys that are in his same place, man. JTG, Santino Marella. We'll go to the story. What else? Let's talk about Jim Neidhart, man.
I didn't see this, so I'll let you say it. I saw the background doing it.
A video came out, guys.
I'll do this while you're telling the story.
It was... It's sad, man.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah, but it is sad.
I'm reenacting.
He was, there was a Legends of Wrestling event at an MLB baseball game.
Miami Marlins. Yeah.
They had Bret Hart was there. Goldberg was there. Jim Neidhart was there. Jimmy Hart.
Lanny Poffo.
There was an interview backstage MLB.com did with Bret Hart, and was basically the Hart Foundation with Jim Neidhart there as well, right?
And Jimmy Hart, yeah.
Jimmy Hart wasn't in the.
He was their manager.
Well, he wasn't in.
In the video, yeah.
On MLB.com. But Jim Neidhart was in the background, and Boom was just doing it. He was making the facial expressions and everything else, And listen, the guy appeared on Total Divas. I believe it was on the first episode, and it was fine. So a lot of people were saying, maybe he's got Parkinson's disease, something like that. There's been interviews with him, fairly recent interviews, just a couple of months ago, where he's normal, and he wasn't doing that. And it's just clearly, even people close to him. We put up an exclusive article on the website yesterday, I think it was yesterday, about Jim Neidhart, and people close to him say that, they're very concerned that it doesn't revolve around any sort of disease or anything like that. He's had a drug problem. He was arrested last year, I believe it was August of 2012, where they found him with OxyContin and just a bunch of painkillers and everything else. And it's just a sad story, man.
Jim Neidhart just on record, and he went on record in an interview a couple weeks ago. They're asking about Total Divas, his daughter's in it, like you said, and he was basically begging in the interview for a Legends contract with WWE. He was pretty much pleading with them to give him a Legends deal, and this is not going to help his case at all.
But you see that video from Total Divas where he was normal and he was fine and he wasn't acting anything like he was in the video. He was on the very first episode. He was on the ring apron. It was Natalia. She was out there and she was training.
Doing
the rundown. And Neidhart was out there. He was fine, man. Not only that, but there's been interviews in recent months with Neidhart where he looks okay. But he was clearly the other night struggling with some serious, drug abuse. And hopefully, man, if anybody knows him, friends that are in the business, hopefully they can, try to intervene before it's too late, because that, judging by that, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. You hate to see somebody in that sort of condition. What's it? Ric Flair, Jesus. Speaking of
conditions,
man,
we pretty much talked about this earlier.
Talk about this, man.
Weeks ago, it was actually the Saturday. I think it was Saturday before SummerSlam. At the Access, it was the WWE 2K14. 2K14 video game symposium is what they called it. It was like a panel of legends, and Jim Ross was the host. They would ask because they introduced a 30 years of WrestleMania mode for the video game, and they were interviewing each guy about their WrestleMania moments and their WrestleMania dream matches. And they never really asked Flair about his favorite WrestleMania moments or dream matches. Mick Foley decided to chime in and tell JR, hey, you forgot to ask Flair. This causes a fucking train wreck that will never stop. Jim Ross and they just trashed the shit out of Foley, because if you want to admit it or not, Jim Ross, you forgot to ask Flair the fucking thing. He asked everybody one by one. You forgot to ask Flair. He claimed, I was going to get back to it and make the hot tag to Flair later. Right. Even though he was in the middle of completely changing topics.
Jim Ross,
he forgot.
Shit-faced. I was drunk. Jim Ross is not going to come out and admit that he was drunk. I know it's not the stupid people, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he was shit-faced. Now, all of them were. Ric Flair was. Yeah. Jim Ross was. Maybe not Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler.
Or Mysterio.
Right. But Ric Flair and Jim Ross were trash.
Foley not Foley. Flair and JR were definitely, Ross had a few beers, but I don't think he did. But JR was definitely drunk. I mean, fuck what he said. The man was drunk. I've watched him a million times. I know when
he was shit.
Yeah, but anyway.
There's a difference and the fact that he came out and blamed it on Bell's palsy, bro. That was the thing that really hurt.
You're taking advantage of sympathy you're going to get for your disease, trying to explain why you're slurring. No, dude, you've had Bell's palsy forever. You've been on TV forever. You've never sounded like that.
Never sounded like that.
And your behavior, along with the slurring, pretty much tipped everything off. But anyway, this is where everything went off the track when he forgot to ask Flair his thing, he goes nuts on all these unscripted rants at Foley for folks and having the audacity to correct the almighty Jim Ross. And I love Jim Ross. I hate talking like this, but he was being a dickhead to Foley, like an asshole. Right. Foley's sitting there, you feel sorry for him because the guy's just trying to make sure Flair gets his moment. And Foley and Flair have their history, so it's not like he needs to go out of his way to help Flair or anything. Right. But anyways, they finally asked Flair's moment. Flair just goes on and on and then on and on. There it was Trainwreck City because once Flair started talking, it didn't stop. It became the Ric Flair show, and he was talking about a lot of taboo subjects. He was talking about wrestling
and marriage and drinking and
mainly it's connecting current stars like Cena and saying, "Oh, now he gets drunk every night. But he can drink just fine." But making him sound like a drunk, basically. And then you put down Daniel Bryan and act like it was a joke that he could be in the same ring with Harley Race. It's not really what he did.
He even name dropped TNA too.
Yeah, I was going to get there. And then he said to when him and Foley were talking that they talked about, we had a match, what was it? The TNA company. Right. It's very harmless, but these are things that they're no-nos. And there were so many of the no-nos in such a short amount of time. Plus, he got to the point where he was so drunk. Because you remember earlier in the day, he had appeared in the ring and did a promo with Damian Sandow. So this was later on where he had already had quite a bit to drink by this point, and he was getting to. You ever heard a giggly drunk person? Yeah. He was giggling.
He was laughing at his own jokes,
right? Like doing the same giggle over and over. And anything JR would say, he was just so worked up. Like fans, don't get me started on fans.
And Jim Ross,
fucking leather chairs. I got this great story about a leather chair.
Ross was quietly trying to be like, okay, it's time to move on, and Rick just wasn't having anything to do with it.
Got to the point where Heyman got up and ripped up Jim Ross's notes and was like, "Yeah, you don't need to ask this one. You don't need to ask this. He's ripping all the notes up."
Listen, I thought it was all right. I thought it was kind of funny. Ric Flair was obnoxious, no doubt, and it kind of got annoying towards the end. But
how many WZRs have you dealt with me in that same
exact?
It's identical to me being drunk on WZR and not shutting up and trying to be funny.
No doubt. I mean, it was funny at first, and then it kind of became annoying. Enough, right? And 2K Sports apparently didn't have any problem with it, but WWE, their corporate people, they had a problem with it. They don't want their talent out there representing the company like that.
Ron G makes a great point. He says it was entertaining, right, but not what WWE's looking for. Exactly. They're trying to, let's not forget, they're trying to promote a video. The whole point of this was they introduced the 30 years of WrestleMania mode. Here's the WrestleMania stars. They're trying to promote this feature in this video game, and Flair was not talking about a game at all. He was talking about stories.
He was off on another.
He's talking about NWA, Mid-Atlantic, fucking championship wrestling. He's talking about Harley Race and Tommy Rich and drop kicks off the top from Kurt Hennig. And had nothing to do with the video game, nothing to do with WWE even. Putting himself over, being drunk. It was just a train wreck. Yeah. And it was entertaining in my opinion. But like Ron G said, it was not what the company was looking for. So much to the fact that Stephanie apologized to the 2K Sports people after the event, pretty much apologizing on behalf of Flair.
On behalf of Rick.
And yeah.
What do you think about the recent rumors? They popped up. Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania 30. I mean, these happen every single year. Who's going to be at WrestleMania?
Who's going to Hall of Fame?
Is The Undertaker to wrestle? Is Goldberg going to be there? Batista returning. Goldberg says that as of right now, there have been no talks with WWE, but he did come out and in all the interviews, he says, as of right now, no, there's been no talks. Yeah. Could it happen? Yes, it could. So he's not ruling it out. If WWE comes to Bill Goldberg with an offer that he can't refuse, he will take it and will see at WrestleMania. But as of right now, Goldberg claims there's been no talk. WrestleMania is still months and months away. So let's give it a rest, man. As of right now, no talks between Goldberg and WWE. Could it happen? Yes.
Very real possibility because they need some names to the Hall of Fame.
He's not ruling it out.
They need some names to the Hall of Fame. They need a big attraction still. Right. For WrestleMania, because there's no guarantee of The Rock this year or next year. Stone Cold Steve Austin's a question mark. Very unlikely, but possible. So if you rule those two out, you got Brock in there. How special is he anymore? Brock Taker, that's a great match.
Brock Taker, Goldberg, Ryback. They got to do Goldberg, Ryback.
Yeah, got to do Goldberg. Even said if he were to do it though, he doesn't want to wrestle.
He doesn't want to. He's got a problem with Ryback. Something happened overseas. Where he said that Ryback cut a promo overseas or something.
It was a South Africa show.
Right. And Goldberg came out in an interview, and he was pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed at
that's what you need to capitalize on.
Right.
Especially the fact that the guy gets Goldberg, and he gets Goldberg chance every time he comes out. He looks like Goldberg, he styles like Goldberg. It's a natural match. But the last time they had a natural like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania was maybe the worst WrestleMania match I've ever seen in my life. Stone Cold was a special referee. The crowd shit all over it. Goldberg's not the greatest worker in his prime. He's been out of the ring forever. He's over. Ring rust. Probably wouldn't be the prettiest match, but it's a very real possibility that he can
It is. It definitely is. And he's not ruling it out.
That's like I was saying. They have no big attraction. When time comes close to WrestleMania this time next year,
speaking of,
they have to come up with something big, and he's a big name. Always will be.
Speaking of Hall of Famers, talking about the Hall of Fame, Goldberg possibly in the Hall of Fame.
Another one would be
Ultimate Warrior. He recently met up with Vince McMahon during the SummerSlam Access festivities. Not many details known.
He was in Los Angeles anyway because he's part of the 2K Sports. He got a deal with 2K Sports to be part of the 2K Sports video game. He's a special player on there. So he had some promotional deal with 2K that he had still there in Los Angeles.
Interesting that Vince and Warrior though.
It was built up that he was already there, but there was no need for them to meet with Vince. So the fact that they met means they're talking about something. Maybe it's just a DVD, maybe it's the Hall of Fame, but whatever it is, we will find out and we'll dig up the details and give them to you.
Devon going from TNA. I mean, this is the second time, right? Last year, Devon's contract. Devon's contract last year was his contract expired, and TNA management basically forgot that his contract was expiring, and they let him go. Yeah. They eventually wound up re-signing him. Dixie and Devon talked it out. We put the article up on the website. Dixie wound up bringing him back. This time, it is it.
He lost the match. He took the pin, I should say, in the match where the Main Event Mafia and the Aces and Eights had the 5-on-5 match that Kurt Angle was supposed to be a part of until I did a DUI. And the stipulation of the fall was whoever takes the pin, done with TNA for good, and we find out after the fact that his contract's up. Right? He's either going to become an agent for the company or he's going to go out and look for other options. So he's, as an active wrestler for TNA, he's done.
Bully Ray came out on Twitter and said, Team 3D, Dudley Boys, they will reunite at some point.
Bully Ray, though, my God. I mean, you got me to watch Impact last
business.
You got me to watch Impact last 2 or 3 weeks in a row. I'll watch it again this week, especially because it's live. I'm actually enjoying them when they're live. Yeah. But Bully Ray, that's still in the business. Like I said, without question, on the mic, in the ring, his look, he lost a lot of weight. He's got that rugged look with the chain and the cut-off sleeves, and he looks like a bully. He's got great mic skills, great matches, more passion, and the guy can get more heat out of any audience than anybody maybe I've ever seen in my generation. You know what I mean, you always hear about the original Sheik in his day, and Freddie Blassie in his day, and these gorgeous George, and these guys that can get great heat from the crowd. And we've seen some great examples of guys that can get heat, but mostly these days,
Bully Ray goes all the way back to ECW too, man.
That's what I'm saying. Most of these days you see he looks like a coward. Like Ric Flair, he runs away, but he finds a way to win. Triple H runs away, finds a way to win. Bully Ray's just a badass, in-your-face, cocksucker heel that you want to beat the shit out of, but you love him because he's so entertaining. He's a fucking great performer. Really, really good.
Talked about the Sin Cara injury earlier. Del Rio basically called him a pussy, and talked about that. And then I know. The last thing we're going to talk about is over SummerSlam weekend at the Access festivities. Alberto Del Rio and Drew McIntyre involved in a real life fight, not with each other.
Not necessarily at the Access festivities. It was at a bar, an Irish bar supposedly. And the story I got, that you got, was that Del Rio and McIntyre went to the bar together. McIntyre had a girl with him. Hot girl. Somebody said something inappropriate to this lady. Del Rio, being a buddy, stepped in, went to say something to the guy. As he was saying something, was blindsided, hit in the face with a bottle by one of the guy's friends, and from there, we heard shit was basically on.
Every hell broke loose. Del Rio, it wasn't between Del Rio and McIntyre, like Boone said. Del Rio basically came to the defense of McIntyre. Because the guy was, hitting on the girl that McIntyre had. McIntyre saying something inappropriate, which you never know. I mean, we weren't there, so we don't know exactly what happened. But the guy was blindsided with a bottle, and that's how the black eye was caused. But Del Rio and McIntyre, two buddies going out to a bar. get a couple drinks in you, and you got a bunch of shit talkers. You know?
Yeah, you gotta stand for your buddies. It sounded a lot like that old story of Ken Shamrock and the Nasty Boys. You heard that story?
No.
Shamrock and the Nasty Boys. Okay, this is before Ken
For
Shamrock.
each other, or
Yeah.
together? Really?
Ken Shamrock was an indie wrestler before UFC, really, but he was doing MMA and Japan shit. Long story short, they're all at a bar together. The Nasty Boys are being jerk-off drunk.
Of course.
Fucking,
They still aren't the
yeah.
next day.
So there's some girl that's a friend of Shamrock's, and the girl's with her boyfriend. Shamrock is sitting there while the Nasty Boys are like grabbing the girl's tits and fucking with her and shit like that. Shamrock's like trying to tell him stop and be cool.
Right.
But he even says himself, you don't go against the boys, so he's kind of like dealing with it. Long story short, he finally says, come on guys, that's enough. And apparently one of the Nasty Boys pie faces him. Sit the fuck down. Shamrock gets crazy.
And this is Shamrock back in his badass days.
Back in his badass days. So they go back to the hotel. And then after they go to their room. They're staying in the same room. Shamrock knows where they're staying.
Right.
Goes to their hotel room and says, now let's see what the fucking do these guys.
Really?
Telling her, open the fucking door, I'll beat your ass, blah, 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 I'll fuck you up. Long story short,
Shamrock 2-on-1.
2-on-1.
Okay.
The black-haired Nasty Boy guy answers the...
Did you guys hear about this in the chat room?
It's a famous story.
So I haven't heard this.
Alright, so the blonde-haired Nasty Boy was being a dick to Shamrock, pie-facing, etc. He passed out...
Who's that, Knob?
That's Knobs. Yeah,
Why not?
Hogan's friend.
Okay, right.
Blonde hair. And the black hair guy is the one that answers the door. The blonde hair guy's passed out.
Uh-huh.
So the black hair guy answers the door. Shamrock goes in and starts beating the shit out of Knobs or whatever. Sags grabs him, supposedly like a telephone, like an old school hard telephone. Bats Shamrock in the face with it. He's down. Knobs and Sags beat the shit out of Shamrock.
Really?
Stomped the fuck out of him. Almost threw him out the window and killed him. Beat the living shit out of him. So a couple of years goes by, Shamrock ends up getting to the WWE, and apparently Stone Cold starting shit.
Right.
They're all on a bus together. Nasty Boy, Shamrock, Austin, and Austin's at the front of the bus, sitting there with the driver saying, because Jerry Sags beat up Shamrock in that hotel fight.
Right.
Jerry Sags, toughest son of a bitch in the WWE. While Shamrock's sitting there, right. At this point, Shamrock's a former UFC champion. Right. So they know he's the baddest motherfucker.
And Shamrock's gimmick was toughest man.
Exactly. The world's strongest man. Right. The world's most dangerous man. So Austin's standing there saying, Jerry Sags, the world's most dangerous man.
Right. Trying to stir it up.
So Billy Gunn and Shamrock are at an airport. They're riding buddies. And the Nasty Boys, this is when Shamrock and Billy Gunn are WWF. Nasty Boys are now in WCW. But they all have to be at the same airport because they're all going to different events. WWE events have to be in the top same area. Right. So they're in the airport, and Shamrock sees the Nasty Boys, goes straight fucking to him and says, start talking shit, blah, blah, blah. You want to fucking jump me from behind, blah, 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 hotel room, beat you with a phone, blah. Let's see what you got now, motherfucker. Supposedly, the black-haired Nasty Boy, Jerry Sags, says, you hit me, it's a fucking felony. If you hit me, it's a felony. We're in an airport.
You called that card?
Supposedly bitched out, and Shamrock said, yeah, you fucking bitch. You know, that's what I thought. But anyways, that was the
Give it up for my boy Matt Pooh. Good story, man.
You never heard that one?
Good story, man. No doubt. No, I haven't heard that. That's awesome.
That's a legendary one.
Oh, dude,
I'll give you one
2 or 3 different times when they came head to head.
Yeah. I'll save one next week for you. It's
hype something up.
Next week I'll give you the story, the original story on the Dynamite Kid, how he got beat up, knocked out.
Dynamite Kid's been rough.
Beat up, knocked out, and never in WWF again because of the Quebecer. The Mountie. What was his name? Rougeau. Jacques Rougeau. Yeah. There's a story where first Dynamite Kid knocked him out, and then he knocked him out back. And it's a very long story, but I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one next, man. You know, he can barely walk these days, man. Yeah, he can't walk. He's in a wheelchair, yeah.
Alright, so Boo's going to tell us that story next week. That's good, man. I like that.
No doubt. Beating up Goldberg. I know the story on that one. I know the one on
Eddie
Guerrero and Kurt Angle. There's one there, I can tell you.
Alright, here we go. We got 10 minutes for rapid fire. We got about 25, 30 minutes.
Alright, we'll do it up. Give him one more refresh. What do you think?
Alright, one more refresh, and then we'll take it from there, man. We got 10 minutes to go. Then me and Boo got to run to the store, and we'll do it. Here we go. Ron G. Call. Let's get them. Predictions. We're talking to UFC. UFC 164. Benson Henderson against Anthony Pettis and Frank Mir against Josh Barnett. Anthony Pettis and Benson Henderson. That was the fight where Pettis came off, did the kick off the cage, man. I'm going to say Benson Henderson. in the rematch there. I mean, I think Pettis got lucky, but Pettis is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. I just think Benson Henderson comes out with the win there. And Frank Mir against Josh Barnett. Got to pick Frank Mir, man. I'm a big fan of.
I'll go Henderson over Pettis, right? And I'll go Barnett over Mir. Okay. Before that event, tomorrow night.
Yeah, what do you got for UFC, man?
I'll just do the main event.
Put a bunch of stuff in here.
Just the main event.
All right.
Tomorrow night, Carlos Condit versus Martin Kampmann. Rematch of their fight a few years ago.
I thought it was Thursday. Wednesday?
That's tomorrow night.
Wednesday? Okay. All right.
Nice. That's tomorrow night. It'll be on Fox Sports 1. Carlos Condit versus Martin Kampmann. Co-main event.
Another Fox Sports 1, huh?
Co-main event. Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Rafael Dos Anjos.
Wow. Not bad.
Bunch of Ultimate Fighter guys in there. But yeah, the main events, the two we just did predictions for, that's this Saturday on pay-per-view. That's pay-per-view. It's Chad Mendez versus Clay Guida. My boy Clay Guida. Josh Barnett, Frank Mir, Anthony Pettis, Ben Henderson. And there's a couple other fights in there too that are badass fights.
That's a good card with not huge names, though. You know what I mean?
I got the card for this Saturday. Great book. Also, Brandon Vera versus Ben Ross. Wow. Doug Victoria versus Eric Cook on the prelim. Wow. Easton Peacock versus Jamie Varner. Wow. Fucking, what do we got? Go down. I think it's on Facebook. Ryan Couture. Wow. There's a bunch of good fights there. So.
Yeah, no doubt. There's, we've got two UFCs. One tomorrow night and then one on Saturday night. Yeah. See, the pay-per-view card, I mean, there's some great fights on there, but there's not many huge names. Yeah. I mean, Brandon Vera is a pretty big name.
Well, the pay-per-view itself is stacked, yeah. The prelim one.
Frank Mir is probably the biggest name on the card, right? That's
Henderson. Champ, fight with Pettis.
Clay Guida.
Mir Barnett is great. I want to see that fight more than anyone.
Wow. I didn't know there was UFC tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, Condit with Kampmann, yeah. And Donald Cowboy Cerrone, too.
You know, we got college football starting up this Saturday night, or this Saturday during the day. And then we got...
Tomorrow is the fantasy?
Tomorrow's fantasy.
Okay, I'm going to pick
and then 2 weeks from, 2 weeks from now, NFL season starts up. College football next week.
Yeah. It's three lines, baby.
All right, so there you go. There's the predictions. Ron G. Ross Graffiti
says, hi, Matt. Hi, Ryan. Can I get a birthday shout-out for today? And also, do you think the Wyatt family will be pushed further than the Shield, the It Factor of WZR? Oh, that's his name in the chat. The It Factor of WZR. Happy birthday to, who? Oh, to him. To Ross.
Happy birthday, Ross. No doubt, brother. Happy birthday.
Do we think the Wyatt family will be pushed further than the Shield? I say yes.
I think, it seemed like the Shield for a couple of weeks there, they were on the pre-show and they were kind of getting deep pushed. But now that they're in the role of like Triple H's security, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than Triple H's security. But the Wyatt family is another one that I said, just a couple of months ago, I think these guys are going to turn out to be the Godwins 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, man.
They're not the Godwins. They're not comedy actors. They're right. Of a horror movie trailer like going along. Everything gets really creepy and cool. I think creative speaking. But supposedly the Wyatt family is like a big pet project of Triple H. Right. So that should tell you right there. He's like Sheamus.
I think right now they're on about the same level. The Shield and
I would say the Shield's here, the Wyatt family's here still. But I think the Shield isn't really going to get much, as a group, isn't going to get much higher than where they are now. I think the Wyatt family is going to go up. Depends on who they work with and what they do with it. Like, who are they even going to work with next? The Wyatt family.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got Ryan Parker. I thought Raw was awesome. So many great storylines. Punk, Heyman, Axel, Wyatt family, Bryan Corporation. Do you think Daniel Bryan main events Mania with Punk at WrestleMania 30? Daniel Bryan and Punk at WrestleMania 30. I think Daniel Bryan's going to be a main eventer for quite some time to come. I mean, the crowd's taking after him. WrestleMania 30, we're so far away, man.
He said, do you think Daniel Bryan main events WrestleMania 30?
No, main events? No, he's not going to main event. He'll be in one of the main matches.
One of the main events, yeah, but not the main event.
P.S. I told you about the Ring of Fire match. I knew it would disappoint Fire. That is awesome stuff. The match was limited because they couldn't use the ropes much because of the fire. I agree with that.
Basically saying I told him.
He told me so.
Jordan the Champ Prevail. What did you think of AJ's pipe bomb last night? We went into that earlier.
Yeah, it was a great promo. Justin Will.
They ruined it by heckling it, but it was a great promo.
You take that next one.
Boone, what are your thoughts on Chael Sonnen's epic promo on Vanderlei during UFC Fight Night?
Great promo.
We didn't talk about that. The debut of UFC on Fox Sports 1 was 2 weeks ago after our last show, and the Chael Sonnen versus Shogun main event. Sonnen choked out Shogun in the first round. After the fight with this guy, what's his name? Justin is referencing in his promo after the fight, he challenged Vanderlei Silva to a match. And said they didn't know they stacked crap that I straight stole a Billy Graham promo. He's the women's pet, the men's regret, blah, blah, blah. It was word for word.
He tried to cut a great promo, but he called him like a butthead. You're such a butthead.
No, that was Silva's promo on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, this was Sonnen's promo on Silva, and then they tried to make the match. Dana White did, and found out that it doesn't look like the match is going to happen because Vanderlei Silva wants a percentage of the pay-per-view. And Dana doesn't want to give him that. But then Vanderlei went and cut a promo you're talking about where he called him a butt. What did he call him? A butthead? A butt face. Butt face. We were trying to say butthead, but it was the translation. But anyway, he was fucking going nuts on this promo on it. A lot of people think Dana's going to be like, well, we got to capitalize on the people really want to see this now because we're talking shit. It'll be a good fight, so we'll see.
Paul Velasquez, do you believe in ghosts and aliens? Yes, I do. By the way, what do you think is at Area 51? That shit is scary. I don't know, man. Area 51, they're doing a big thing. Area 51, they just released a bunch of confidential information from Area 51 that I've
Can I ask you a question on camera? I don't know if you'll admit it. Do you believe in God?
No, I don't believe.
You don't believe in God, but you believe in aliens and ghosts?
I believe in aliens and ghosts because there's some weird shit, but
I knew you didn't believe in God. I didn't know if you admit it, but you don't believe in God, but you believe in ghosts and aliens. I do. What proof is there?
What is ghosts and aliens have to do with
Because a lot of people all think they're fake. A lot of people think God's fake, doesn't exist. A lot of people think they're aliens.
I've never seen.
What makes you think aliens and ghosts? What
my theory
what proof is
is
there that they exist more than proof that
Well,
God has?
everybody. So where did God come from, right? Where did God? Did they just float down from the sky?
That's a different subject.
I just
But I'm
don't
saying,
believe
where do you
There's
think?
been a lot of unsolved things that have been caught on camera. UFOs, unidentified flying objects, where we haven't figured out what they are. And I've seen it with my
that
own eyes.
immediately means there's aliens.
No, I'm saying he asked if I believe. Do I believe? Yeah,
That's
I
why
do
you
believe.
believe all those spacecraft.
Right, and I've never seen anything that proves that God's real.
But that doesn't prove
I've never
aliens
seen
or
it.
ghosts are real. That
It
proves
doesn't
that
prove
there's things
But
flying in
there's
the
more
air.
proof. There's more proof from what I've seen.
You
There's
don't
more
let me
proof.
finish the sentence. There's proof that there's unidentified flying objects. There's no proof what's inside them, aliens or ghosts. Why would that prove
I
there's
have seen.
aliens or
Let
ghosts?
me put it this way. I have seen videos of UFOs, right, where I don't know what they are.
Yes.
I have never
Not an alien.
I have never seen a video of God.
You're doing it again. You saw a proof.
I didn't see proof.
No, you saw proof of
I
an
didn't see proof.
unidentified.
You're putting words in my mouth. Not proof.
You saw proof of a flying object, right? You said yourself. You've seen much more proof of unidentified flying objects.
Okay, I've seen videos of flying objects, not proof that they're aliens.
That's my point. You said there's no proof that God exists, but you have seen videos of unidentified flying objects.
I have seen videos.
What the hell does an unidentified flying object have to do with aliens or ghosts?
Because you don't know it's an unidentified flying object.
It's an object that's
You don't know what's inside of it. You don't know.
So how is that? Where are you drawing the connection between UFOs and aliens?
UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's inside that
So it
object.
could be an alien.
It could be an alien.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it is an alien.
Right.
But I've seen more evidence that there's possible UFOs and there's possible aliens than I have of God.
You just did it again. You're connecting UFOs and aliens. You're just assuming that, there's no proof of aliens. There's proof that something's flying that we don't know what it is.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything to do with aliens.
When people associate aliens, who could be flying that unidentified
You're making
flying
an assumption
object? Who could be flying that? What's inside that? Could it be an alien?
No idea.
Could it be an alien?
Very well could be.
Very well could be. I've seen more proof that
Could it be a regular person?
It very well could be. Very well could be. But I've never seen proof that God is standing before me.
That's because you never has. You've been dead for quite a while.
Right. I've seen more proof of UFOs than I have God.
Well, because there is proof of UFOs, but there is no proof of aliens or ghosts in the UFOs.
No, there's some images out there of aliens and weird faces and
Doesn't mean they're aliens. You can't identify it. And there's been stuff about God too. That it's just a long story. It takes forever to
We can argue this all day.
Yeah, we probably all night.
You guys in the chat room believe in aliens? What do you think?
God,
the chat room.
Spaghetti monster.
Are aliens real? Do you believe in UFOs and aliens? Yeah.
Well, you're getting pissed that we're talking about non-wrestling shit. Let's talk about wrestling.
About aliens, I believe, definitely, yes. Even my guess. Never mind if you believe in aliens. All right. So we're going to rapid fire. What do you got? Thanks, Paul Velasquez.
Ian Jones says, where do you think this current Punk storyline ends? Will he go back and forth with Axel until Royal Rumble and then finally get his hands on Heyman? Or will they drag it out till WrestleMania? Punk Heyman, I think, goes all the way to WrestleMania. Now,
I think he goes for a long time.
Yeah, now does he wrestle? Is it Axel every time? I think Heyman gets a new guy. And
Heyman will get a new guy.
Yeah, and then Lesnar comes back at WrestleMania. Right.
Christopher Brown.
Although, if they're doing Lesnar Undertaker at WrestleMania, what's Punk doing? Because the original beef was after SummerSlam.
They want Punk Austin.
Okay, but if they can't do Austin, the original plan was with Lesnar. Let's have Lesnar win at SummerSlam, and then Punk will fight a Heyman guy until Lesnar can come back. Lesnar can't work. So when Lesnar comes back, if he's working Taker, maybe Punk will be done by Heyman at this point. And they try and do the Austin thing.
No, Punk Heyman's not going all the way to WrestleMania.
That was the talk of it.
That's 6 months away.
Yeah, they wanted to keep the power struggle thing and the Punk Heyman thing going all the way. Which I don't think they could do.
I don't see Punk Heyman going.
Without at least one of the two getting stale.
Power struggle I can see because they've got them all heels right now.
Yeah, well then they can eventually turn and turn back. Right.
But Punk Heyman?
Yeah, that's got to be stale by that.
Christopher Brown, given his current push and John Cena's current long-term injury, Daniel Bryan, Vince's last Hogan Cena-like choice as the face of the company before handing the company off to Triple H's step. First of all, Vince McMahon turned 68 years old the other day.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon's got a good 10 years left before he hangs it up at WWE. I'm telling you. 10, 20
that
years.
Guy's not ever going to retire.
80-something years old. He's still going to be attending.
It was either Flair or Triple H. You got to talk about that Triple H Grantland interview too. That was awesome, man. We don't have time. I'll sit here all night. But either Flair or Triple H said Vince will die at Gorilla.
I'll sit here all night too.
I will too. Pete. Go Pete. They said Vince will die at Gorilla, and Gorilla, for those who don't know, is the famous Monsoon. They named the position after right behind the curtain. If you're going up the ramp at a Raw show, for example, right behind the curtain is Gorilla position. That's where they sit with the headsets and they feed the shit to the refs, to the announcers, and the guys before they come to the curtain. They'll get told, "Hey, you got like 8 minutes. Go out and have your match. Here's your music." Boom, music plays. Out they go. That's Gorilla. And the line from either Flair or Triple H was, "Vince will die at Gorilla." And the reason I say that back to Ian's question was, or Christopher Brown's question was that Vince, he agrees, Brian, that he has more than 10 years left. He's going to die at Gorilla, like he said. So he's going to be in charge, at least as far as having the final say on the creative, which he's back to the Triple H Grantland interview you were referencing, where he said Vince is giving roles out to other people. Like Triple H has pretty much complete control over the talent roster, which is the old job Jim Ross used to have, and Johnny Ace used to have, where if they're going to hire somebody, Triple H is doing the hiring. If they're going to fire somebody, Triple H is doing the firing. Push somebody, repackage somebody, roll some Matadores, whatever. So that's Triple H's job now. Stephanie really clarified what her job was, whereas she's kind of like the fresh perspective in creative. She won't be in the bubble. She'll be watching on TV and know the stuff that they're not catching because they're so wrapped up about, we have to have this segment done and promote this promotional thing and this ad bully campaign. And they're worried about stuff like this, so sometimes they lose focus on, wait, this doesn't make sense for this reason or that reason. She's supposed to come in and tie that together. If that is her job, she must do a terrible job. I'm sure Ryan will agree when he gets done taking a shit. He's taking a piss. When he's done doing the paperwork and wiping his ass in there, he will agree with me, there he is, that if it is her job, it's a terrible job, because I can't count how many times they start and stop angles without realizing it. Good shit?
Yeah.
Good shit?
I took a big pee. I took a long piss.
You took a pee.
Look at all these beers over here that I've been drinking tonight, man. I got these, right? We're still going. Lots of them. I didn't take a shit. I would.
Why do you smell like shit?
You smell it.
Did you wash your hands?
Alright. Smell alright.
Alright.
So what's up? Talk about Grantland?
The overall show was trash. I wonder if you're talking about us.
Oh no.
But no, I referenced the Grantland thing briefly. I think we should go with the rapid fire. They seem to get really confused.
Do they?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where we leave off? Ron G.
No, Christopher Brown.
Christopher Brown. All right, Ron G. Big Show was teasing a KO punch on Triple H last night. That's when Triple H
When they were doing the interview.
Right. Said nobody talked. Clenching his fist, facial expressions. Do you think Big Show eventually turns heel again, aligning with Triple H, Orton, etc.? Well, Big Show was teasing a KO on Triple H. That would make him a babyface.
As Triple H, you think it was bullshit though, he's gonna turn.
That's what we think. No.
I think that was just an isolated, like, they're going to each guy, and that was his reaction.
Right.
I don't think it's going to have anything to do with Triple H.
Yeah, no doubt.
Next question comes from Tim Krieger or Krieger from the Red Tiger. Why in the hell hasn't WWE fired Sin Cara yet? And who do you see as the next mid-carders gaining momentum for a push? Why they haven't fired Sin Cara yet? Because he's got a contract. Whether or not they re-sign him is a different question.
Sin Cara's just been a complete fail.
Disaster.
Injury.
Everything. He came with the ego, and then he didn't get over as much as they expected. Then the injury, then like recently pulling out of a match for a fucking finger. It didn't work out like they hoped.
Yeah, it really has it.
And he gets paid a lot. He really does. International star power.
Right, exactly. They're in talks with Prince Devitt, right? New Japan for a big name overseas. Let's see. Anthony Remy. What do you think of WWE would be like if Shane McMahon was in charge?
I didn't know. I mean,
I think Shane McMahon's more hit.
He's definitely, he's more in tune with today's generation.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no way to know, like, it's a layered response. But yeah, there's no way to know how much he's responsible for in the past and what he could actually, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to know, well, he's good in this area as creative, but he sucks at booking finishes. He's good, you know, you never know what his strengths and weaknesses are. He's the lead for 10 after 10 right now. Wow, we're starting a little late. Right.
We're making up for that. We gotta give him a 3-hour show, right?
I could do all night, like I said. Oh, yeah, man.
Brian Parker.
Brian Parker said, did you see that awesome match between Antonio Cesaro and Sami Zayn, El Generico, on NXT? Holy fucking shit, what's up with this weird...
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was me because I've been drinking and I didn't want to ask you on live radio.
It's like a cut in the screen.
Right.
It was match of the year candidate, hashtag NXT is awesome. No, I heard about it.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
I heard about the Cesaro Zayn match. Supposedly, it was like a locker room sellout. Everybody was watching it. That was at the taping, at least. And it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, supposedly, right?
It was.
And supposedly it was like one of the matches of the year. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You can watch NXT, I believe, free on Hulu.
They switched to regular. Yeah, it used to be Hulu Plus. Okay. And recently they switched to Hulu, so it's free now. There you go. All
right, we got Arturo Velasquez Jr. You didn't watch.
Read the question.
Arturo Velasquez Jr. Did you guys catch the Real Sports Bryant Gumbel segment on DDP's Yoga for HBO, talking about Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts? When did that air? Was that tonight?
Tuesday. Yeah, it would be tonight.
Yeah. We didn't catch it. We were here, man. I wanted to watch that.
I forgot it was tonight. Yeah, I'll download it right now. Matt Johnson, what happened last week, bro? No show. Just personal things. Can't really get into it. Some technical things, too, which we're still dealing with this week anyway. We'll try and fix them before next week. That's a promise. We'll try. Anthony Remy, have you shipped out my shirt yet?
Dude, we got a car. Do we not have a car? Anthony Remy, listen.
Don't dude me. I had nothing to do with t-shirts.
I'll look you right in the camera.
Look right in his eye.
Anthony Remy.
Apologize to that man.
Number one, I apologize.
I'm drunk, folks.
Number 2, email me tonight. Webmaster at ProWrestlingScoops.com. Send me the size of the t-shirt. I think I remember what size.
Say it out loud. You big fat guy?
An address. Okay. Send me an address and whatever else I need. You already sent the money, and we'll get that out to you. We have a car. You forced me to drive to the post office. Yep. Anthony Remy, got you, brother.
Got you. 5XL t-shirt, fatty.
There you go. We'll answer. We'll answer his question.
Acer, Brian and Matt. We weren't going to take this early, by the way, but we will. Brian and Matt, what do you think? What do you think about the overall UFC Fight Night 27 card for tomorrow night? The main event bout between Carlos Condit and Martin Kampmann, plus the coming event between Don Cowboy starring Rafael dos Santos. We talked about that earlier.
Did we?
Those two fights. Who do I pick? I will go with Condit over Campman, and Cowboy over Dos Anjos. So.
Alright, let's see here. Back to,
wow, I just said that quick.
Back to our rapid fire. Nielsen Hernandez, you're an asshole.
I thought you were saying that to him.
Nielsen Hernandez, what do you think is the plan for AJ Styles now that he's a member of the main event Mafia?
It depends on that loose contract, right? And is he still in the main event Mafia? Yeah. He is. Yeah, he lost the Sting look, and I guess he's still in the main event Mafia now. What's the plan for him? The plan is to hopefully re-sign him right now, I would think.
Yeah, it's like we said, it all depends on AJ's contract, so figure it out.
Justin Wally or Whaley has a joke for you, and it was a little something like this. If Sin Cara was in a wrestling joke, no doubt. If Sin Cara was in a courtroom, what role would he play in? Injury.
The jury.
Injury.
No, you know what? I bet he made that up by himself. That's a wrestling joke.
He took a joke and then just put a wrestler's name in it.
But he made the joke himself.
He
made that joke himself.
No. I say that's a joke that's existed where you say, what do you call blah, blah, blah in a courtroom? Injury. Yeah.
I think he made it himself. I think that would give the man props. He made it himself.
You just made a shit at yourself.
I didn't. I took a big piss. I took a long piss. If I took a shit, I'd come back here. I'd let y'all know. I took a big piss.
I'd bring the toilet paper back. Show you. Right. No doubt. Ian Jones, how to make
take it too?
You read that. That doesn't even make sense. How to make TNA a better product.
How to make TNA a better product within 1 year. Fire Hogan, bring in Heyman as senior writer/producer. Bring in CM Punk equals mega ratings for TNA. I agree with, Hogan, the reason Hogan's there is for media attention, okay? But Hogan went out and did this arm wrestling thing with Toronto Mayor, and all the media articles, not one mention of TNA.
Well, that's really was an habitual offender of that, because he came out on the Today Show recently, too, the host of Childhood Heroes, he did the t-shirt rip and everything, he didn't mention TNA there either. He goes on Stern, he doesn't mention TNA unless Stern brings it up, like he doesn't seem to give a fuck about promoting TNA at all.
I'll tell you this.
And he has an ownership in the company. What do you think he would...
Ian Jones, your first line here. How to make TNA a better project, or a better product? Paul Heyman. That's Paul Heyman.
That's what he said. Fire Hogan, bring in Heyman.
What you got here?
AJ Clark, better mic skills. Paul Heyman or CM Punk? That's a good poll for next week's show. We'll put it up tonight. We'll have the results next week.
You know what? And we're going to hold off on our opinions for that for next week. That's going to be a
very good question.
As soon as we go off the air here tonight, I'm going to put that poll up on
WZROnline.com. Those who listened to the Raw commentary show last night, we actually talked about that a bit.
All comparing those two. CM Punk.
It's something to take some time. Next week we have a lot to say though. He disagrees with it.
Lance Winter, if AJ Styles signed with WWE, you think he should make a perfect Heyman guy?
Would he make a perfect Heyman guy? Yes. He can't talk.
He can't talk.
So
it's like Curtis Axel, man. Great in-ring worker, but can't talk worth shit.
I watched the Ric Flair shoot interview this past week in our video where he said he liked working with AJ Styles, but he can't be a heel. He's too much of a lovable, nice, likable kind of guy. If you were to go to WWE and become a Heyman guy, you got to be a heel. He can't talk. Heyman will talk for him, so he'll talk for him as a heel. But in the ring, can he work and get heat as a heel, or will people like him too much? Yeah, that could be a problem he faces there too. But yeah, I think Heyman can beat anybody over the heel down. And Styles is Heyman's off. And Styles is damn good in the ring. I'm sure he can what the fuck are we talking? King Slim. Do you think it reflects bad on WWE fans that they get behind the we the people game? They did last night too. They got behind it, and it was the primetime players they were cutting the promo on, right? He looked right at Darren Young and he said, "You are the problem with this country today." And then he went back to his speech, but he looked right at him and said, "Really?" He's like, we're talking about problems in the country to this day. We're talking about problems in the country to this day, and you are the problem. And I'm telling you, and then he went back to it, but like he looked right at him.
It's subtle things
and you
like
can tell
that
WWE does. Fucking country boy girl, country boy like him, you know damn well.
Let's see. Lee, Dave Pierce, welcome back. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Vincent Nugent, Ryan and Matt. Regarding the direction of this guy, regarding the direction
Writing a book
where
report.
AJ Styles is at in TNA, would you rather keep him in the alone heel gimmick, or do you like the way TNA presented him when he turned babyface and helped main event Mafia fight off the Aces and Eights last Thursday night on
Impact Wrestling on Spike TV at 9 p.m.
Yeah,
8 p.m.
9 p.m.
Central on Channel 32 locally here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
We love you, Acer.
To the question though, we can't. It's hard to answer these Styles questions. We don't know if he's going to resign or not. You know what I mean?
We don't. It all depends. And like I said earlier, they're hoping to have something done by Thursday.
Yeah, and if my choice is between the alone heel gimmick or the man that I would say neither. Let him just be.
Let him be
AJ
Styles.
Yeah, I agree. Justin Wally's back and he says, "What does Sin Cara mean to you? To me, it means silly, injured ninja can't avoid ruining advancement." He did the acronym for Sin Cara, broke down into class. Ian Jones, can you guys open up a WZR Army Fantasy League? We have one. We got one. Oh, an Army League. There's no spot in the actual WZR Fantasy.
I don't know how to set that up.
I don't either. I've never even played fantasy football before. So.
Alex
Rinskowski. UFC Wednesday. Who you got? We already told you. I got. Oh, you got that. I got Condit over Campman, and I got Donald Cowboy Cerrone over Rafael Dos Santos.
I'll take Condit and Dos Santos.
You gotta take the Santos over Cowboy?
Let's see. Robbie Jackson, thoughts on Eric Bischoff's comments on the internet wrestling community, and thoughts on Kazarian's reply to critics of the Young Bucks. Seems like a reply to RDB's
Are the Young Bucks Generation Me?
Generation Me, right.
I just watched this.
Nikki and Matt Jack.
Vince Russo did a kayfabe commentary called Timeline, the history of this was WWF year 2000. What they do is they take 1 year, timeline history of WCW 1989, and they'll look at the year and who's the guy most identified in WCW with the year 1989? Ric Flair. So they'll have Ric Flair come in, sit right where you're sitting, I'll be the host of the show, and they'll break down each big match and each big segment for the year 1989 WCW. And they'll ask Ric Flair to comment on each big story. So Vince Russo was doing the year 2000 for WWF and ends up saying it's going to be his last interview of all kinds. So he's going to start naming names. And one of the two names that he named, as far as people in TNA that are complete marks for themselves, don't realize.
The Young Bucks seem like marks.
They don't realize that it doesn't matter how great of a match it has, you have to have a character to go with it. And blah, blah, blah. He said the two people, the tag team as an individual stars. The Young Bucks are one, who's right. Saying Generation Me. I agree with that. Christopher Daniels was the other one.
Really?
He said, "Yo, it doesn't matter how great your matches
are,
Daniels.
He just wants to go out there and fucking make it.
He says those guys specifically wrestle to impress the internet wrestling community and get told they have a 5-star match, as opposed to trying to develop their character."
I can see Daniels being like that, though. And definitely,
it made sense for both of them, but at the same time, you have to see the interview. This group was just so anti-wrestling.
Right. We left off
Illusion again. This is readable. Brian and Matt, did you guys watch the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards this past Sunday on MTV Cable Channel
55? Baby, woo!
Here goes with all the breakdown. The 2013 MTV Video Music Awards this past Saturday. And if so, what did you think about the musical performances and acts on there? I didn't watch it. I was watching Breaking Bad, a real man show, but I caught during the commercial because I couldn't smoke out there because of the little baby, the future champion Jacob. I came in and saw the Miley Cyrus performance.
It's beautiful,
bro. Jiggly ass.
Oh, I love it.
And then I saw the entire, right after Breaking Bad, Justin Timberlake did a performance.
Insane.
And I watched that.
Bye.
Whatever happened after that, I didn't see because I came back in here. But I saw those two things.
Justin Timberlake, I'm not a big fan of his, but he killed it.
I'm not a big fan of his.
He killed it.
But he did go on a little long.
He did go on a little long. He went like 25 minutes. And Miley Cyrus, come on, the tour thing.
Yeah. No doubt. Do a couple, squats? Pick that ass up a little bit.
Yeah, tighten it up a little bit.
That ass up.
What ass?
You know what happened.
Vincent Nugent, Ryan and Matt, why do you guys think WWE did not capitalize pushing Ted DiBiase Jr. Thoughts?
We kind of talked about that earlier. We talked about the fact that he wasn't. Now, why didn't they? Originally, they moved him over to the film department to do that movie, so they didn't take time off of that. By the time he came back, I'm trying to remember.
They did try to push him with Legacy, but
that was before the movie. So I'm saying, so they split up the team. Rhodes, while he's doing the movie, Rhodes is getting his individual push. By the time he came back, I can't remember the climate of the WWE, what was going on. why he couldn't be factored back in, but I'm sure they're.
He got injured, man. He was injured.
Yeah, they did the movie, and there was the injury, but why wouldn't they?
They brought him back and they didn't do anything with him.
Yeah, Superstars match, right? Dark match, right? I don't know.
Gallon
or Galen? I don't know what it's Gallon Hill. Yeah, I heard the Shamrock story. They have a site with a whole lot of the backstage fight. It wasn't on the video. Dynamite was in his book, Road Warrior Hawk knocked out Randy Savage. So there's a bunch of them.
Who's going to come with that story about the mountain next week?
Jaku Joe and Dynamite Kid. That's a great story.
And here we go with the last one. Do you think the AJ Lee scene was 100% scripted, or did she go off script? Wants to know if she went off script.
No. That was scripted. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't maybe not scripted, but definitely bullet points.
There were a bunch of bullet points. It was a great promo last night.
Really great, well delivered, and just ruined by the Bella Twins reaction.
We need some feedback, man. And listen, we know about the audio. We know about the video. It was real choppy tonight. The audio sucked. But what about the show overall? I mean, we're working. Me and Boone sat down during the first commercial break, and we talked about we were going to, throughout the next week, we're going to work on either both putting headsets on and working on the audio and getting the video better quality. We're going to work on this. I promise. I know we say it week after week after week, you know. But we need to get live phone calls back. We need to get the video quality better, and we need to get the audio quality better. We've got 3 things we need to fix. And so submit feedback, man.
I'll tell them what to do, but I can already tell you, I've caught glimpses of the chat here and there. We're not going to have good feedback this week.
You don't think so?
It's almost positive. But if you would like to leave us feedback, negative or positive, we'll take either. If you didn't like the show, tell us what you didn't like, and we'll try and do less of it. If you did like the show, tell us what you did like about it. We'll try and do more of it. This is how we get better. We custom create the show for you, goddammit. Because we love you. So get over to Facebook.com/ Stephen Frozen Mouth. That's respect. /Ryan Clark WZR. Facebook.com/ Ryan Clark WZR. Give us your thoughts on the show, and we'll try and adjust accordingly.
We are trying to make big changes here, guys, man. Just bear with us. We're working on the audio. We're working on the video. We're going to be able to take the live phone calls sooner than later. We're out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday night, 8 to 10 Eastern Time. Same place, same time. WZR TV Tuesdays. Oh, that boom. That's me. This is Ryan. That's it. And see you next Tuesday night, 8 to 10 Eastern Time on WZROnline.com.